And hello, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us here. We are live, and this is Xbox Ultimate Podcast, and we are on episode 220, I believe. Today is March the 21st. And yeah, it's been a pretty interesting couple of weeks here in the past couple of weeks. Also, lots of things coming up soon in the world of Xbox, but especially earlier this week. And since this is our first show this week, this is our first chance to cover it because we didn't have FSP, which was my fault. Yes, I was again. I'm sorry, I was not feeling well. I just wasn't incapable. It's 221. Kate says, "Oops, it's episode 221." And then last night we didn't have a show on for PM and the PM, and that one was Mr. Pong's fault. So regardless of the fault or who's to blame, we are here and it's Friday and we are live for our first podcast of the week. But I appreciate all the chat and you guys being here and always being patient with us when we have to miss shows. I always said if this ever feels like a job, I will not do it anymore, right? Because this is a fun hobby for us, and you guys never make it feel that way because you're cool, calm, and relaxed, and just like, hey, let's just have fun with these guys. So appreciate all that. Audio listeners, shout out to you as well. Appreciate you all being here. We're not being here right now, but listening later after the fact. You guys rock. And hey, man, it's been a crazy busy week for gaming news, and we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to talk about tonight, everybody. And I'm joined by two amazing gentlemen tonight. One and only Fuzzy Belvedere is here. What's up, Fuzz? How's it going?
Guys, glad to be here with you. Yeah, it has been a crazy news week. Some stuff that we wanted to hear about, some stuff that I guess didn't get talked about this week that was hoping would get talked about. But yeah, enjoying some games. But there's a lot of games that I want to play right around the corner. Atomfall's another one, but Assassin's Creed I think is going to be a no lifer for me. Like, was it Origins? I got like 11 days. Odyssey, I had like 14 days. Valhalla, I only had 10 days in, but I hadn't completed the main story. The other two I did, and even most of the DLC, if not all the DLC. This one, I think I'm at least going to do the entire story. We'll see how the DLC turns out, but enjoying it so far. But man, just Xbox is doing good with some slip ups, but I don't know how deep we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this episode today. And, hey, shout out to the chat. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man. And yeah, Xbox hasn't been really like forward facing to the community with news around GDC, but GDC stuff's happening as well, and they have maybe made a mistake in letting some stuff slip out, regarding some of the stuff that's going on at GDC, that I imagine is going on behind the scenes in discussions with lots of people there, and maybe we got a little glimpse into that. So that's going to be a big part of our discussion, which feeds into a lot of rumors and speculation that we've been having for a long time now as well. So this is going to be a fun one. I can't wait to talk about it. And also joined by the host of PM and the PM, the man who takes the captain's chair on Thursdays, the one and only Pong Soul. What's up, dude?
Good to be back in the chair. Sorry, guys and gals for missing last night. Had to do it. Had to call it late. It happens from time to time, but it's been a while since I've actually had to call one. We usually push them, but yeah, yesterday was something. Anyways, great to be here on Friday night. Great to see Fuzz back. It looks like you're not in the OnlyFans hotel room, so that's good. Glad to see you back home, brother. And of course, great to see my brother from another Mav here, who I did not get to talk to and catch up last night. So we got some catching up to do. Yeah, gaming wise, happy Assassin's Creed Shadows, everybody. I'm not going to jump in. I made that decision, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait on a sale on this one, and I will catch it on the flip side when I get a chance. I still have to play Star Wars Outlaws, for God's sakes, too, man. So my week has been interesting. As you guys know, gaming wise, I should say. I was been playing Avowed a lot. Got over 80 hours. Got to Shatterscarp, the third area. and met the Archmage who had a
Mhm.
giant lead up, and went a little bit further than that. And I've now uninstalled the game, and I'm not going back.
Oh.
Yeah, this turned out
We're
to
at the
be
same, like, we're kind of at the same
yeah.
spot.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Good. For me, you guys already know the story was interesting in the beginning. The choices were interesting in the beginning, but as I carried on, I told you guys it became less and less important. It obviously the choices consequences thing that I thought was built into this game was not there. I thought there was far too many misses for the writing in this game for what could have been really fantastic stuff. They had a baseline story here that they could have done wonders with. I don't again, it's not every game I care about the story like that or even talk about the story all the damn time or the characters or the NPCs, but it was so jarring at times that I was like, whatever. But I continued to play because the combat and the exploration were that good, and I was having a great time. When I got to the third area, it really started feeling like they rushed this game out the door. Um, that area's design compared to the first two areas, way below par. Um, the exploration, way below what I experienced in the first two areas. And then I hit that cap with the spells, which I had talked about previously. I thought there was too few spells as a full-time magic user in this game. I thought they should have had a lot more. I loved what they gave me, and I love the combinations and stuff you could do. Um, but being that I was role-playing as a full-time magic user, wizard, again, sorceress, whatever you want to call me, as my choice, I hit that cap with the spells, and there was nowhere to go, and the crafting was non-existent to move forward. And so then the battles just became the repetitive nature, and the exploration wasn't fun anymore. The loot became redundant over and over and over again. You can only find so much of the same shit. And that third level, like I said, I was just it wasn't the same pace, it wasn't the same loot. So I asked myself, and I do this, right? Steele and I talked about this all the damn time. Know who you are as a gamer. I had over 80 hours, and I was sitting there and I was playing, and I'm like, why am I playing this at this point? And my only answer was because I was getting close to the end, and I was like, I could see the end in sight. I should maybe just push through because I don't beat a lot of games. Maybe I should just push through. And then I looked at my back catalog. I looked at everything else coming up, Atomfall, all these other games. And I met that Archmage, and I was kind of interested to see how they were going to do this Archmage because there was a big lead up to the Archmage. And it was as disappointing as the rest of the meetups with these big characters have been throughout the rest of the game. And she was just, I was like, oh my, you got to be kidding me right now. This is the Archmage. Okay. I didn't mind her level to a certain point. I thought the level design was interesting that they had in the lead up to meeting her. But then I was just like, this is god awful. I'm like, why am I doing this? So I was just like, nope. I would still give it a 7 as an RPG for somebody who is starting out in RPGs and who wants to get a good idea of what RPGs are like without getting the depth of one. I still think it's a great starter RPG, but at the end of the day, again, the decision consequences things really had that still been in play. And Mav, I'm not going to spoil for anybody. Like I'm not going to do that. But one of the first major decisions I made the complete opposite decision of you, Mav, and we talked about it on PM to PM, right?
Mhm.
Without giving spoilers. I made the complete opposite decision from you. That decision had no bearing down the road. Like it was like it never really fucking happened. And it
Mhm.
was like a massive decision. I was like, oh God. Okay. So, anyways, it's a great first outing for Carrie and her team. Again, they changed leadership on that team way late. Then they changed the game itself. late well, I shouldn't say late, but they changed the game itself after the first couple years, 2-3 years. They changed the game itself and what the direction it was going. And I think it wasn't a fair shot to, complete a game like that. Again, I don't think you can have changes in leadership like that and vision and come out with a great game all the time. And I think this is a prime example of that. There's a base game here that I've said from the beginning. There's a base game here that could have been great. There really is something here. Not everybody's going to agree on art direction. I found the art direction to be off-putting at times, but then other times, as my screenshot showed, I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. There's some atmosphere and just some beauty in that world that few others captured with the colors that they did and that kind of stuff. And again, that's going to be subjective all the damn time when it comes to art. But there really is a base game that they could have really done something with. This story could have been something. I saw so many points where I was just like, oh my God, please let it be going this way, this direction. And this is not just me wanting a certain thing. I'm just saying that they could have given you so many choices. They could have had so many consequences for your decisions in even some of the smaller moments that actually matter, that could have affected you, that could have made this game like, holy fuck ball, I can't believe they just did this to me. I know I made that choice, but shit, I can't believe they did this to me. And it was all just, to me, it was just, man, okay. So anyways, still give us a 7. Again, just as impressions goes, I think a lot of people, that's why I see a lot of people still enjoying the hell out of it. In fact, I see a lot of people enjoying it more as they get towards the end. So if you are one of those people, please continue to obviously enjoy this game. I'm not the dude who's going to come out here and start shitting all over it on social media and tell everybody not to play it. I'm not that way. Again, it's just me personally. I had to ask myself why I'm playing it, and I couldn't give myself a good reason anymore. So I just uninstalled, and I'm not going back. Yeah, so I got plenty to play, but that's where I wound up, over 80 hours. So,
and everybody's their own, you know what I mean? Like with
yeah.
It's crazy though. On the Shatter, like specifically that part though that you were talking about, the Archmage. That was my favorite part of the game so far. which was like, I was like, oh man, this is getting crazy. This is getting good. Like I loved that whole level, and
yeah, I enjoyed that level too.
Yeah, like I and also like Shatterscarp's my favorite place so far as well, right? As far like I think maybe I like the aesthetic of it. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think the first 2 areas had more of a similar look to them, right? And I think like Shatterscarp is a little bit more diverse, where you have like the desert, then you go into like the ice in the mountains and stuff, so it's in. But overall, yeah, I've just been really engaged with the story so far with it, and then the lead up, I could see how that could be disappointing. For me, it was like I was curious what was going to happen at that point, and then I kind of feel like what I wanted to happen ended up happening, right? So it was for me like, okay, that was cool. So I think it's like different it's just different, like what you're looking for, you know what I mean? It's always it's always different, and we play, I think part of it too is we play these RPGs differently, even though we like a lot of the same RPGs, like we play them in different ways, right? And to where you like being ultra bad,
and you can't in this game, and you can't
and exactly, and
which like we talked about before it even launched. Like I said, that could be an issue if they weren't going to let me go full. But then Carrie made it sound like you could make some big decisions.
Yeah.
The only thing you can really do is attack a bunch of people if you really just want to go that route. You can just wind up choosing to attack people, which is what I wound up doing because I didn't care anymore. But there's no repercussions. There's everybody acts like it never even happened.
Right. And so
I feel like your companions don't even get mad at you, Mav.
Yeah.
Like at the most, they're like, "Did you really have to do that?" I just slaughtered a whole group of people. Are you sure you really had to do that? Was that the right decision? Well, I guess I can kind of see your perspective when you give them an ad. I'm like, bro, okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm jumping on you, but
they needed Sarah in the game.
They needed bipolar Sarah.
I didn't like that. How could you do that?
Right. Exactly.
And,
Anyway.
and man, it takes a while to get over a grudge. Let me tell you. But yeah, there's not that character as one of your companions here. I feel like for me, maybe it's because as well, like the role that I had decided to play,
Sure.
and that
would make
I
it-
mentally like that what I wanted to do and how I like perceived like this is who I'm gonna be in this game.
Yeah.
Like it has fit really well. And I do agree though, like from what I have seen, like it probably could be limited in choice as far as how far you can go with your decisions on what kind of character to be, which is also part of the reasons why I think it is. I would also consider it a RPG light with like with loot with some of the like skills and just the dynamicness of the world, right? Like just you can't just go into a town and be like Baldur's Gate, not Baldur's Gate, fuck. Well, Baldur's Gate shit can go fucking off the hook too. But in oh god, Dragon's Dogma 2, right? Oh, I accidentally just did something in the main city, right? In the main city. And the whole fucking town just comes at me. And I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? First off, it's really hard to survive if you can. And then even if you do, it's like, am I welcome back here at any time? What do I do with that? So it's like, that level of dynamicness is not really there and about. It's there in a lot of like the Bethesda RPGs. It's there in
it's there in other
Obsidian RPGs as well. So like that level is there. But like early on, I kind of understood that about the game, and I just had more fun with the combat, which had exceeded my expectations. The exploration kind of exceeded my expectations, and this discoverability of things and stuff. So those that's kind of like what I've been focusing on more with the games, and also the story has engaged me pretty well. So that's been kind of, and I will finish this one. Like I said, I'm also like you. I don't finish a whole lot, but I'm around that same point, and I think I don't know how many hours I got left, but I think there's more area after this, and then after that I'll be wrapping it up. I'm probably almost done with Shatterscarp now. So, but yeah, man, Avowed. Yeah, I would if you say you're a 7 right now. It's probably say somewhere between an 8 to 8.5. It could be higher or lower once I finish it. But yeah, overall, I've been enjoying it. What Fuzzy? Have you poured hours into Avowed yet?
I put a decent amount, but nowhere near as many hours as you guys. I've been bouncing around back and forth with a lot of different games, so that's why I haven't put as much time into it. But I wanted to get back to it, and then Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, and that's more of my speed of what I want as far as just brutality and things like that. Like there's a decent amount of brutality in Avowed, but it's not the same when you chop off somebody's head in like Assassin's Creed Shadows, or chop off their limbs, or do a backflip over them and slice their throat kind of thing. Like just I know it sounds psychotic, but no, I promise you I don't need to go to a psychologist or anything like that. But it's a different type of game, and it's more of the type that I like. The hack and slash type stuff is more of what I like, and this one has the extra cherry on top because of the brutality or the dismemberment and stuff. But I'll get back to Avowed at some point, but they better hurry up because I have a gut feeling by the time I'm ready to get back to Avowed, Outer Worlds 2 will probably be ready, and I'm more of a sci-fi than fantasy, high fantasy guy. So
I expect Outer Worlds 2 to be kind of probably more what you're looking for, Pong, as well. Like, when they talk
Outer
about
Worlds
it,
1 was,
and they're talking about Outer Worlds 1, but bigger. You know what I mean? It's pretty much
exactly,
and better
exactly.
looking.
And I would put Outer Worlds a step above Avowed, like
Right.
that. And again, I'm more of a fantasy guy than a sci-fi guy, right? It's close, but I'm more of a high fantasy. But yeah, I would put Outer Worlds as a better Obsidian game for me personally. Again, for sure. So I'm looking forward to Outer Worlds too. Like again, this doesn't nosedive me for Obsidian or anything like that. It's just like I said from the beginning, man. It's just one of the most perplexing games that I've played, like that I was really hyped about.
I think I know why some of it's like it is too, with because originally it was designed as a co-op game, right?
Some
And
of that is there, and you can see it and
yeah,
feel it.
and I think they had built the world and a lot of the mechanics and stuff around that concept, and maybe that made them feel a little bit more limited with some of those dynamic options when you're having multiple players out there and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, maybe it just goes back
yeah,
to the change then that
right.
you shouldn't if you can help it in any way, shape, or form, that should never happen. Like,
Mhm.
you should not change the game the way that they did.
If they
Um,
would you be interested in Avowed 2?
yes, I would be
Yeah.
because I think there's a core game here, and I think that the team, if it's led the same way and they're given a full development cycle. I mean, they were given a long time. Don't get me wrong. Again, it was delayed. I get it. They were given a long time, but from the start to finish, if they had the same vision from start to finish, yes, I think it could be a much more complete RPG experience the next time around in Avowed 2. That's why I said, on shows last week that I hope that they jump into Avowed 2 right away. I hope that's what happens.
Mhm.
If
I'm
they're gonna move
wondering.
forward,
I mean,
that's what I
they've
want.
already announced that they have that now they have some like
Some type of roadmap.
yeah, some
Yeah.
type of roadmap for the
Yeah.
future for this game, and I'm wondering how if it did well enough, hopefully to get a sequel. I hope so because I love the world,
Yeah.
man. I love that Pillars world. I would actually like a traditional Pillars game, right?
Yeah.
Like with a good budget, like Microsoft Xbox do their Pillars version
Done
of like
before. Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 was
Mhm.
for uh for Larian. Like I think Pillars could do the same thing
It could.
with Xbox and Obsidian getting that kind of time and budget for something like that. It'd be amazing. But we'll see if that ever happens. The same thing for An Exile and Wasteland or anything else that they could want to make. I would love to see more CRPGs come out from first party from Xbox. But also I love the Western RPGs. But like Xbox has got plenty of them. You got Avowed, you got Outer Worlds, you got fucking we're getting Oblivion remake supposedly this year. We got shit. Then Elder Scrolls 6 will be coming. There'll be a new Fallout. Like there's Elder Scrolls Online. You got Fallout 76. It's just so many of those kind of games, which is awesome. But not complaining one bit. Keep giving them to me. But yeah, I'd like to see some of those CRPGs as well. So,
Of course. Absolutely. Bring them out.
speaking of RPGs, I get to stream one this weekend.
Wee.
Yeah,
Very
and
fun.
I'm gonna get to try out Claire Expedition 33. So check out that this weekend, everybody.
Let me know.
Discord stream. Get to play a little bit of the preview. So yeah, I'll be doing that here. Also might stream some Wreckfest too, early access. I might give that a go as well. So I'm gonna try and I haven't done a lot of shows this week, but this is only one, so maybe do a couple streams this weekend.
Yeah.
Something else been playing.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Mhm.
And as the lead up started getting built up for this game, I started getting more and more like I'm getting that Assassin's Creed itch. You know what I mean? So an itch that has not really been scratched since Valhalla. And Valhalla overall for me was like a really well-made game. I remember booting it up for the first time on Series X, and I was like, "Oh my god, a game this big and this massive that looks this good or is running this well and this smooth on a fucking console." It was that moment of like, "Holy shit, this is different." I understand what PC gamers have been raving about for 60 frames for all those years. Valhalla did that. And then when I did the FPS boost on like the Far Cry 4 and stuff, and then got free updates on a lot of these other games, including old Assassin's Creed games, Ubisoft gave us free updates to those. I went and played back some of those, and I was like, oh my God, all these games feel so smooth and so great. And I dabbled in Mirage as well because I had done the Ubisoft Plus and I got to try out Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I got kind of far into. I was enjoying it, but it was still like I think I had also mentally been, even though I like the smaller Assassin's Creed, I still, I think mentally haven't converted into this grander scale Assassin's Creed fan at this point because I loved Origins so much. And something we've all been asking for and waiting for forever was a big Assassin's Creed in Japan, you know? So ever since this game was announced, I remember when Ubisoft did that whole thing where they announced like fucking 10 Assassin's Creed games, and at that Assassin's Creed like roundtable thing they did, right? It was like, oh, you know, it was like Assassin's Creed Red at the time or something like that. I can't remember. We're all like, oh my god, yeah, they're doing it, yeah, you know. And you know, there's been a lot of shenanigans, a lot of conversation about different stuff over the past year, partly Ubisoft issues, you know, Ubisoft going through the shitter. We've had many complaints about Ubisoft. You know, you have all the cultural things going on as well. That's been going on the past year or so. It's been affecting a lot of games, right? Not just Ubisoft. But this one's been getting a lot of attention for different reasons for that. Then you had the delays, you know, delayed and delayed and delayed. And, you know, I always kind of had my faith still in this game because I just always thought it looked good from the trailers. I always thought that the setting was going to be great and well made for Assassin's Creed. And I was just intrigued to finally play a big Assassin's Creed again, you know? So that game launched, and my FOMO, like I wasn't gonna be patient. I was like, I gotta get this one. So pulled the trigger, got a deal on it. I think at Newegg that they had posted with a sale, and yeah, I've been playing it since launch night. I'm not super far into it because it's been lots of stuff going on, so we can play it and do this, play it, do that, or whatever. But so far, I've been extremely impressed with Assassin's Creed Shadows. And Ubisoft proves again to me like how quality their games can be as far as like production value and like how good they look, how well they run, how big the worlds can be, like the animation, the level of detail, like even like what I see some people, you know, about story and voice acting and stuff. I've been really engaged with the story in this too, like from the onset. I don't maybe I'm not the biggest critic of stories. I don't know, man. I get sometimes they grab me, sometimes they don't, but I've been really into this one from the get-go. And man, I'm just really digging Assassin's Creed Shadows, dude. Like it could end up becoming my favorite Assassin's Creed. I'm that impressed early on to say by the end of it, it could be my favorite one, but I am still in awe of the kind of quality that Ubisoft can put out. And there was rumors of like, oh, turmoil and all these things. It's in such horrible shape, which could have been true. I don't know, but like, if that's bad shape for what they put out now, what I'm seeing before my eyes, right, and feeling on the controller, it's like, I'll take that any day of the week. So anyway, I just really liking the game so far. I can't wait to get further into it and end up beating it. I've been playing on my console and also on the stream your own game thing, which it looks and fucking plays great like that too. You know, so yeah, been just digging my time with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Fuzzy, you've been said he's waiting for a sale, so he'll get it eventually. But and you know it's Ubisoft, so it'll be like $2.99. Yeah, no, like 2 years from now, it'll be like buy every fucking Assassin's Creed game ever made for $5 in this legendary Ultimate Collection. You know, what you been thinking about Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Loving it so far. Naomi, I think is the female shinobi. Mainly playing her, but I think that's how they have you do it early on in the story. You play Yasuke for a little bit, and then you play her. Looking forward to getting back to him to see, you know, if you can basically use maces to knock people's heads clean off their shoulders, kind of deal. But so far, the blade work, loving it, loving the acrobatics. Although she's, you know, a little bit more acrobatic than you would expect after some of the beatdowns she's gotten. But I'll let people, you know, find out on their own on that one. But having fun doing the normal exploration stuff. Like, I ruined Valhalla for myself by doing that to some extent because being a Viking, I decided I was going to do all the raids before they told me to do the raids, and I completed them all. And then I go back to the war table, and it's like, oh, you got to do a raid here. Well, I was just over there. And then you go back there, and it's like, well, you've already got all the supplies. You just got to go through the motions again. So I'm trying to avoid doing that, but on occasion I'll clear like one of the encampments, and it looks like they respawn, shortly later, and you can get more supplies. Although I guess they're heavier supplies now or something. But yeah, enjoying the brutality, like the fact that you can do different finishers, and the if you don't do like the one button combo thing or whatever, like keep it where you can do almost like with what was it, Ghost of Tsushima, where you can do the different stances and things like that. I like that approach better because you can dance around kind of like while they're holding in a defense stance, you can hold in a defense stance, wait for them to attack, and then block it or parry it, and then make them a little like stunned for the moment, and then you can slice them up a good bit. Or you could do kicks, or basically almost do like a spin flip and kick them in the face type of deal. But yeah, there's a nice variety of different moves early on. I'm pretty sure as you level up some of those moves, they seem to upgrade, because I know I didn't use the stabbing knife thing, or the punto, or whatever they call it. I didn't use that much in the beginning. Now that's getting leveled up because I'm doing more of the sneak up assassinations and things like that. But really enjoying the game. It looks fantastic. Like for me, I'm kind of doing like a rough comparison as I'm playing to Ghost of Tsushima as far as the overall. And there's just two things that I think Ghost of Tsushima does better for me, at least at the moment. Although I do like how involved the stances were for Ghost of Tsushima, but I feel that this is a little bit more fluid as far as the combat.
Yeah.
But Ghost of Tsushima's only improvements, well, not only improvements, but the things that it still does a little bit better is load times. Much faster load times. Even on the old PS4, it seemed like it was just slightly faster load times. But then again, the level of detail hands down goes to Shadows. Like there's a lot more detail in those worlds, so I can understand the load time deal. And then the not the fast travel, but like the directional stuff. The little line on the ground is a lot better than some of the stuff they've. Well, it's from what I remember, it's kind of like what they had in Origins and stuff like that. So they didn't change it up and do like the winds, kind of like the way Ghost did. And they could have probably did something like a blend between it kind of thing. But yeah, that's other than that. I'm more in the camp for Shadows. The gear doesn't seem to. Well, then again, I'm only level 7 or 8 right now. The gear doesn't seem to be as meaningful just yet, but once I get something better than the common gear or the starter legendary stuff that I got as like a Twitch drop or whatever, it'll probably be it'll make a lot more sense. Like the base building, the fact that you can blend the buildings or keep them separate and stuff like that, or put like little walkways in between them, which is kind of cool. What else? Oh, and I didn't magically, but I have leveled up the Assassin's Blade. So I was able to kill like one of the not the main cast that you're supposed to hunt down, like the hidden ones type of thing or whatever. But I guess there's some other group that you're supposed to kill as well. And he harassed me when I got on the pier. First time he killed me in one swipe because it was like a skull with like a gold crown or whatever. Second time around, I was able to sneak up on the pier behind him and kill him. And then his buddy that was like the same level as me was easier to take down at that point. But yeah, it's love the exploration, love the combat. Combat's the key thing for me. And then the only thing I don't like about the exploration is some of the mountains, like cutting through the mountains, because you have some of the slippery rock stuff. Although it seems like you can overcome it a little bit better than you can in other Assassin's Creeds by just jumping or sliding to the side or something. But yeah, it's going to have me for at least 80 plus hours. Like I said earlier, Origins I did 11 days, completed all the main story and the DLC. Odyssey, 100% of the story, 70% of the DLC with 14 days. Valhalla didn't finish the story or the DLC. Have about 10 days in it, but like I said, I killed that one for me by doing the raids before I was supposed to. So it was getting repetitive in that regard, and that was where I got frustrated and kind of called it quits. So yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. Hey, I think we're probably around the same area on it. I think I agree with you. I think for me, if I compare it to Ghost, which is a fair comparison, obviously, right? I think like Ghost has that more like I would say this like tries to be more of a realistic world and in combat in a way. You know what I mean? You have the samurai stance and you
Face
like
off.
the face off thing and like the combat's more like methodical in a way where it's a lot about timing and choice and things like that. Assassin's Creed feels a lot faster with the combat and more actiony. They both are clearly actiony, right? But I think Assassin's Creed Shadows feels more fast, but also stealth is fucking fantastic in Shadows.
Prone.
Yeah,
You can
going
finally do
prone into the
prone.
fucking tall grass.
What
bro.
difficulty are you playing?
It's normal. Yeah. Maybe I'll jack it up, right? I've been thinking about it.
Did you listen to ACG's review?
No, I don't. I don't like. So I'll see posts on Twitter and I'll read like kind of like their overall thing that they say.
You gotta start listening. ACG goes into deep because he plays games like we do. Anyways, he talked about it. Like if you want the Splinter Cell experience, you gotta jack up the difficulty.
Okay.
So you'll get the Splinter Cell. You'll get the Splinter Cell
Yeah.
effect. And Steel's obviously got a jack too, and you can watch some of his clips.
Yeah.
They become much more aware of their surrounings when you jack it up. So if you do want to go that route, again, I'm not saying you have to. Because
I think I'm gonna look at this like for replay value to go back like later and like experiment with that stuff. But wait, speaking of Steel, he slides in and shows up.
Whoa. Yo,
what's up? What's up,
on,
Steel? How's it going, bro?
Bro, when you got the key to the back door, sometimes you just come on in, grab yourself a beer, grab a sandwich, and just sit down and see what the guys is talking about.
Are you calling us from the U-Haul truck? What are you doing?
I might be. No. Is the mic working? Is everything fine?
Yeah. Everything's good.
Sound great, bro.
Want to make sure.
Can't be making time for a show when you're moving, brother.
Well, it's late at night. Things are winding down. It's that time. So before we ramp things back up in the morning. But I heard you guys talking about some Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Steel, you can fill in for me since I'm not playing. Go, brother, because you're awesome.
Oh man. So for those who don't know, we're not gonna have live a split screen. So I think this might be the perfect time to really to get into it. But no, man. You guys were making the comparisons to Ghost of Tsushima. And again, I heard other people saying, "Hey, it's not fair to compare Assassin's Creed to this," and look, that kind of shows where the class that Ghost of Tsushima is at, comparing it to Assassin's Creed, trying to.
People compare Ghost to Assassin's Creed to begin with, right?
Yeah,
and then now Assassin's Creed goes to Japan, so it's like it's hard not to have the comparison. You know what I mean?
And the comparison should be fair. You should be able to do that. Now, as somebody who has played Ghost of Tsushima recently, I've put over 10 hours into Ghost of Tsushima. I just want to say, just very upfront, Assassin's Creed Shadows, I care more about Naue than I ever did about Jin. Straight up.
Character-wise, 100%.
Character-wise, it's not even remotely close. And I even care more about Yasuke than I do Jin. And I haven't even got a chance to play with Yasuke more. You know what I mean? Like,
just the intention. I don't want to spoil things, but the opening, scene.
Yeah, it just feels good
for him. I'm like, man, this character is fucking intriguing. Like the way they build that up at the very beginning of like just how the game opens. I'm like, oh, this is pretty fucking like crazy how they set that up, and then you go to the other character and it's like, wow, I like 100%. This character too. So fucking having my thing with the Odyssey, honestly, that now I know Odyssey, I'm interrupting you, I'm sorry. The Odyssey, I really like Odyssey a lot, but I've restarted it and like
never played
10 to 20 times, right? It's like one of those games I always like go away from. They're like, oh god, I don't remember what happened. I got to start again. You know what I mean? But I do really like it. But my thing with Odyssey, and this is gonna be different from most people, but the actual characters, like you can choose the guy or the girl. I just never really connected with either one of them, like as a character, as much.
Yeah, but I never played them. Yeah.
So already for me, I'm more connected to either of my choices of characters in Shadows than I was with Odyssey.
Yeah. Now, Paul was mentioning ACG's review. That's why I appreciate ACG, just the way he breaks things down, even if you don't agree with it. And a lot of the times I find myself not agreeing with what ACG what he says about certain games or whatever. But he does speak to how long that you have to play with the Nawe before you get to Yasuke again. And I heard Fuzzy talking about that earlier, I believe, when he was on with Boom. And
Yeah.
that is a little bit jarring because, I mean, again, as much as I don't mind it, because I was intending on playing as Nawe anyway, again, I'm a shinobi in Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm finally a literal ninja in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, you would have thought that this is how the series started. It's not. Nonetheless, that is the one thing where it's kind of like, okay, I thought this was supposed to be two different characters, but again, you're also talking about a game that you're going to get 100 hours worth of gameplay in. But I can see how if you were somebody that wanted to play Yasuke more so from the very beginning, it can be off-putting having to play as one character or coming in under the understanding that you're going to have a choice, and you don't have a choice. If you progress through the story, you have to play as Naoe to get to Yasuke stuff. So take that for what it is. That removed out of it, though, this is literally the Splinter Cell game that we have not gotten yet. Yes, I mean, without the guns and all that great stuff, of course, but when it just comes to it, even reminds me of Origami in some ways, another ninja low-key like classic. I would put on there. There's just a lot of, it makes me feel like the brotherhood days. Like you're Ezio running through the city trying to figure out, hey, where are these people at? You're trying to get information, getting details. You're passing by people, they're dropping little clues and hints and stuff. You're back on top of buildings, reconning the way. I appreciate the fact that they took the Raven out, but still gave a way to still have that vision, especially with Nawe being able to still kind of see the enemies and whatnot, to kind of mark them and everything. There's just gameplay wise, I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. Again, I'm probably about 10 hours in at this point.
You playing on console or PC?
I'm playing on PC. I started playing on the Series X.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in early on the Series X, and then I transferred. I connected my account and picked it up on PC. So it was running good on Series X. I was playing the performance mode. It felt good on there. There was some choppiness to it, especially in the earlier areas. Like when you were transitioning, it seemed like when you were transitioning from zone to zone, that there were maybe some loading things happening there, and that's why it got choppy. But it was smooth for the most part, from what I've noticed. But yeah, I mean, on PC, it's been running great. I haven't had any performance issues really. Well, I was having some, when I first transferred over to PC, I was having some graphical errors. Like I would load in and my character's legs would start, like when you would start running, the legs would look like they're running on a roof or running on the ceiling or running on the skybox. It was weird.
Just like
then I had some shadows that were completely broken. It was weird. But other than that, man, I don't know if this is going to be the end all to be all for Ubisoft. I don't know if there's that much greatness in it, but I know at least for me, I'd rather play this than Ghost of Tsushima right now. I got Rise of the Ronin that's also on my backlog, which I think is going to be a really good time too. But this is literally the Assassin's Creed game of the modern era that we've been looking for. You were talking about Valhalla, how it kind of had that effect for people. And I know people are like clamoring about behind the PlayStation 5 Pro, just because of the lighting. This does definitely stand out as far as, hey, this is another game that demonstrates that this is the current gen. This is a reason for you to upgrade no matter what platform that you're jumping into. This is a good example of a good time. So man, really looking forward to it. This reminds me though that I bounced off of Ghost of Tsushima because I just got tired of the, for lack of a better way to put it, the novelty of it. And again, me not having that attachment to Jen, I was growing, but it didn't grab me the way that it's grabbed me here. The same thing with the gameplay mechanics, the showdown stuff. Like I got tired of that after the 10th time of doing it. Whereas here, because you just have so much versatility in how you approach every scenario, there's the enemy spawn back after X amount of time as well. So there's always fresh stuff to jump in, to go through in the different areas. Not only that, but seemingly when you level up, like let's say you go through an area at level 10, if you come back through that same area, same character at level 20, it'll essentially reload all the chests so you can go through all the chests again.
Hmm.
So literally almost all the areas are kind of replayable or like super replayable, right? At every level cap or however you want to go back through them. So those nights where you just had a hard night at work, hard day at work, you want to sit down, maybe just funnel through some enemies, get through this. Hey, let me get through here without taking any damage. Oh, I got this new build.
Yeah.
Let me see what this working with.
That's
It has a lot
where
of
that's where the
potential, man. So
stealth
it's cool.
thing can be really fun too. You know, like I think
Exactly. Yeah.
stealth like just it kind
A
of
lot of
has
Splinter
this
Cell,
like
yeah.
replayability inherently because of like how trying to figure out how you can approach situations and stuff like that. You can do it a little bit differently each time. The first ability unlocked was the one where you can go underwater and have the read so you can like breathe underwater, you know?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
I
I
was
got
just
that. It's real. That's super dope.
because I was like, I'm
It
gonna
is super
use
dope.
this in the fucking stealth,
Yep.
right? Yeah, man. I think part of it too, like I love Ghost of Tsushima, so like I don't ever
Yeah, it's a good
necessarily
game.
I don't
It's a
ever
good game.
judge games
It's free.
comparatively to another one or whatever, but like that was the last great big open world samurai style game we got in
Based in
Japan,
Japan. Yeah.
right? So
Yep. Mhm.
and that was they heavily compared to Assassin's Creed, right? It's Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of the last generation, and I'm excited for Yote
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah.
So like, but for me, like Assassin's Creed delivered upon that, like in what I was hoping for Assassin's Creed could be in that setting, right?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of conversation about the characters, who you're playing as, and all these things, but like for me, the part of the best thing about it so far is the character. Um,
Yeah.
Regardless of anything, it's just like how the story grabs you and who the people are. And do you care about their story? Right. And from the get go, I instantly fucking care about these people's stories. Right. And it's because of how it's written, how it's presented, and all of that. Right. The other thing too is like just overall, and we were talking about this a little bit before we came on on air. We're talking behind the scenes and stuff. It's just like overall, just production value of a Ubisoft game with quality. And yeah, there's some choppiness sometimes and stuff on Series X and things in performance mode. I've noticed a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, it's been like butter smooth, and image quality
Mhm.
is just absolutely amazing. And I think it gets lost with some just because of expectations. Like, hey, these big, publishers should be capable of doing the most, right? But a lot of these publishers haven't been accomplishing the kind of things that Assassin's Creed Shadows accomplishes. As far as scale, graphics, performance, detail, animation, fluidity of control, options, mechanics, tons of different things extra you can do in Shadows as well with the building your base and or your hideouts and stuff like that. And I just find it like a lot of times with the expectations that we have on games, and which is fair to have because we should all have expectations, right? But if you were mentally, if somehow we didn't have Ubisoft in our mind, or we didn't like for Xbox, we didn't have like it's Xbox making Halo Infinite, or for Bethesda, it's Bethesda making
Mhm.
Starfield. Like if somehow that was just gone from the equation, which it never will be, and I understand that. If we were just to be able to look at what is created and what's delivered to us for the price equal to everything else out there in the market, we'd be like,
Mhm.
wow, this is a fucking accomplishment. Like, it runs great, plays great, looks great, story is great, animation is great. Like, everything checks all the boxes. But still, for some, just because, well, we know who made it, that equals in more to the equation and sometimes the perception of a game, right? Which can be fair or not. For me, I always try and I always look at games like
Mhm,
as far as what I am playing, right?
mhm.
And am I having fun? Is this amazing to me? And
1000%.
so for Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Damned all the other Ubisoft stuff we talk about all the time, right? That I've got issues
Mhm,
with and everything. This
mhm.
game for what it is, regardless of who made it, regardless of any of the drama that's been out there, regardless of any other shit, I'm like, wow. My first impression, seeing it on the screen running, is wow.
No,
So
yeah, it is very pretty. Does run well. I think the only thing to be a little bit of a counterbalance on that point is when you've set the bar for yourself at a certain level. And that's what Ubisoft has done, especially with Assassin's Creed. Again, that's why when people were trying to downplay Shadows, again, the culture stuff and all that, that's stuff that the studio has to work on themselves. It's not acceptable. How they handled it is not acceptable, and it just makes no sense when you try to pitch it a certain way, right? Now, if you would have stuck to your usual Assassin's Creed guns, I think you mostly wouldn't have gotten a lot of the blowback that they have gotten so far. But Ubisoft has made Assassin's Creed always be the standout IP for them, to the point to where people say that they're tired of playing Ubisoft style games, but then will go play Horizon Zero Dawn
yeah,
or Horizon Forbidden West
right.
or go play Ghost of Tsushima. And I think that's what I struggled with Ghost of Tsushima with, is it's like, well, I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't see how Ghost of Tsushima is supposed to be this, oh, this is grandiose step forward from this team at Sucker. I don't see that from Ghost of Tsushima. Outside of the intro to the game when you're going through the field with the horse, yes, that's very pretty and they got some really good cinematography, but that doesn't matter as much as gameplay matters when it comes to these games. And I think it's more so ironic that with Ubisoft going through everything that they got going on, somehow they still were able to find a light, whether they need, again, you got, sometimes you got to put a rock under pressure for it to create a diamond. Is this a diamond though? I don't quite think so, but is it still demonstrating that Ubisoft has an IP that can stand on its own and is a AAA IP that can do a lot for them? I think they got something here. I think this should be a reminder though that, hey, those games that you try to run away from and say, "Oh, well, I don't like Ubisoft." You do like Ubisoft games. You just want them in whatever style you want
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game to be. So
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it'll be a game that is talked about for a long time in one way or another. Too, just always kind of referred to. We'll see like how it does, man. I hope it does well for them. I don't think Assassin's Creed Shadows is gonna necessarily be the savior for them, right? But overall, reception's been pretty good from the critics. It's got some great reviews out there. Some people downplay the scores again, like they do with other games that got great scores, right? It literally has the same score as Ghost of Tsushima, right? And 83. But for Ghost, it was like, oh, a lot of these people are like, oh, that's like below what it should got. It should have been like in the nines and stuff. But then when they see that Ubisoft has an 83, they're like, oh, it's a Ubisoft game, So it's just weird to have those same kind of things. Say Starfield got that same score as well, right? And for me, that's a fucking great score, and it's just not going to be necessarily uh like it's not going to jive with every single person, right? As we, as gaming never does, right? But overall, like, I think it's getting pretty good. So we'll see how it does, man. I hope it does well for them. I hope they can help use this to recover and get some of their other projects done. But yeah, Ubisoft's got a long road ahead of them. Besides this, for sure. Pong, you got any other thoughts on Assassin's Creed Shadows? I know you haven't touched it, so
No, I haven't touched it. So, I mean, obviously, I've been watching people play. I've seen the
yeah,
clips. Obviously, Steele's posted some great clips, but I watch a couple people just kind of in the background playing too as well. I think, again, like I said, for the problems that I do see, the ninja will overcome that for me. Like I want to play. Like again, I'm no different than everybody else. I've been waiting for Assassin's Creed in Japan for a long ass time. So far from what I've seen, the story and acting is subpar. I get at least the English side of things. I've heard that the Japanese side can be better, but the English side just it's not good for this type of level of game. It shouldn't be subpar. But other than that, the gameplay itself looking great. Again, living out that ninja lifestyle. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I can't wait to get in. Like I said, I will be at some point. Assassin's Creed games, like, Ubisoft games are my fast food, man. I'm never gonna give them up. I hope Ubisoft sticks around, and I hope we can keep getting them. I love their games no matter what. So, well, not all of them. I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying like they're big titles. They're Assassin's Creed, they're Far Cry's. I just enjoy the hell out of them. I don't care if they're the big versions or the small versions. I'm really hyped for Hexe or
Yeah.
Hex, depending on how I want to say it. The next one, no, this was one I've been waiting on for a very long time. So I'll be jumping in at some point. And I'll give you my impressions then of what I think of it compared to the other Assassin's Creed games, because I like a lot of them. I like a lot of them. Odyssey was fantastic, right? So I can't wait to jump in and see what this one is like.
Yeah, right on, man. Shout out to Scott Gamer Dude. Join the speculators. Shoot you motherfuckers. Welcome to the speculators, and appreciate you with that membership, Scott Gamer Dude. Also Alvin, member for 33 months. Shout out to Alvin. Says rest in peace, big George Foreman. Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess.
Oh wow,
it's a
yeah,
thing.
he just passed. It's posting right now. George, 76. Yeah, man.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
The last couple years with celebrity deaths has been insane. Like it just keeps coming. I guess it shows with our age, you know. Like I think like when we're younger, like we see like a lot of the celebrities that passed away and stuff, we just like didn't resonate with them as much. So it was like okay, but now it's like a lot of the people that we grew up super familiar with, you know, are starting to lose and stuff, and it sucks. It sucks big time. How many people in the chat owned a George Foreman grill? We did. We had one at one point, or maybe we at 3 or 4 different points in our life we ended up having a George Foreman grill. But yeah, I remember watching some of those matches when I was a kid. You know,
I was big into boxing.
I remember old Foreman coming back, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" You know, what are you talking about? This guy from the 70s or something coming back in boxing in like the 90s, and I'm like, man, he looks old. You know, how's he gonna do? And then he goes out there, and I'm like, wow, this guy's fucking amazing. You know, I had to learn all about him and stuff. You know, it's like tall. He had the length. You know, the reach, and his personality was super fun. So yeah, shout out to George Foreman. Condolences to everybody out there.
Godspeed, big man. Godspeed.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of open world big games, there's a company that's making their first one in this kind of genre, and that's Rebellion. And their reviews hit too today. I think the game comes out on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. And it's Atomfall. I saw mixed reviews on it so far, but from a lot of people that I've seen it again, I don't necessarily care too much about what other people say about games, but like on Twitter, I can't ignore when people have their little synopsis with their like YouTube trailer or whatever, or YouTube video link and stuff. And it seems like for the most part, what I've seen is from several people out there, it jives with the things that I was looking forward to the game. And overall the quality seems to be there as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one also. You guys, anybody here check out those Atomfall reviews today? Pong, is that a disappointed face or?
No, absolutely not. Because what people, the people that liked, again, there was a consistent through a lot of the reviews, whether good or bad, there was some consistency to what people said was up to quality, right? Now, people disagreed on whether the story was good, whether the combat was great. Again, we were kind of in a scenario like are with Avowed, where some people wanted more RPG to this game than there is. It is an RPG light as well. So that's another thing. But what people did like the consistency as far as the world goes, as far as the decisions go. And again, in this game, you can kill every NPC if you want to. All that stuff that speaks to me. So again, I'm really hyped. I've been hyped for Atomfall for a long ass time. So the positive stuff I was seeing, God, it even had Maddie Plays out here praising it. Again, Maddie doesn't praise games
Yeah,
anymore, so
I
he
saw
was
his.
excited about
He
this
talked
game.
about the
So
quality, the graphics,
yeah, yeah,
and like yeah.
yeah. So he was happy, which is rare these days. So I'm super excited. Again, the fact that it's in Game Pass is just a bonus cherry on top here. I'll be playing it day one. That's why I wasn't too upset about putting down Avowed. I mean, I was upset because I was enjoying the game and then I wasn't. But at the same time, I was like, well, I got Atomfall coming, so I'm just gonna be jumping into Atomfall next, anyways, and seeing if that one clicks a little bit more in different ways than Avowed did or not. It's going to be kind of cool to kind of go back and forth between the two now. But I've been really hyped about this. I love what Rebellion does, and I'm glad they're trying something new here. That's what I'm excited about. Everybody knows that's been listening to me. I love studios who break out of the mold. I don't want them to necessarily, you know, reinvent the wheel for their games that are successful. But if a studio wants to go try to make a different style of game than they have previously, I am all for that. Like Playground going to make Fable after just being, obviously Forza Horizon masters. I think that's so damn cool. So Rebellion breaking out and kind of pulling off this kind of open world, RPG light action game, first person. Let's do it. Let's do it. I can't wait to see what they did here. So yeah. I'm excited, man.
Right on, man. What about you, Fuzz?
Definitely looking forward to playing it, but haven't checked out any of the reviews. Been busy playing Assassin's Creed, but I've learned before, like, there's certain games that are going to jive with me. Like Assassin's Creed is one of those types of games, but I didn't do the full commit, so I did the Ubisoft Plus. But since I have Game Pass, I'm gonna try Atomfall for myself. Um, I can't get enough of that style of post-apocalyptic Chernobyl. Although, well, not Chernobyl, but like I guess the other radioactive phenomenon that happened in other parts of Europe, kind of deal,
UK.
and see how that world is, because it looked like they're taking a different approach on how the communities work and things like that. So looking forward to it. And plus they have it where I guess you can kill all the NPCs if you really, really, really want to. It's just that you might, close a loop as far as like some of the outcomes and things like that. But that'll be the fun things. Although I hope I don't accidentally wind up shooting somebody by hitting the wrong button like I did in Starfield. That's why I think I made mention here before. I'm not allowed on Mars on one of my playthroughs because the bounty hunter is right there.
Yeah.
As soon as you come to Mars, the bounty hunter is right there, and it's like every time. It's like, oh, we're in a shootout. I can't even get to the person I need to talk to because they're hiding under a table or something while there's a shootout in the main corridor. So hopefully they don't have stuff like that happen. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'll try it on Game Pass, and if it doesn't jive with me, then I'll look at the reviews after the fact. But I have a feeling I'll probably wind up playing it after I finish Shadows. Or I might try it for a bit, put it down, and then go back to Shadows, finish Shadows, and then come back to it. So we'll see how it pans out.
Right on, man. Yeah, the killing everybody is kind of the more intriguing things to me too, because that leads to the whole mechanics of not replayability in this case, because if they're gone. But like as far as trying to figure out how to approach situations and like just being able to do that in a game like this seems intriguing. Like stealth take out an entire town, or entire area,
Mhm.
it would just be fun as hell. Steel, you've been having your eyes on Atomfall at all?
Yeah, I had my eyes on it. I was peeping it out. It being from the same people who make Sniper Elite. What is that, Rebellion?
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. That definitely has my interest for that reason. Am I going to play it? Probably not. Even with it being a Game Pass, I have too much on my plate already that I've taken on unnecessarily. Honestly, I'm knee deep in Monster Hunter Wilds. I still haven't finished the the back half of the story. I'm still on chapter 5 in there, almost 100 hours in. Assassin's Creed Shadows really has my attention, loving every moment. So yeah, it's probably gonna be one that I skip out on, but
You're about to add Bleach too, aren't you?
Yeah.
we'll see. No, yeah, that's already there. So that's
Oh, it's already there?
like
Okay.
what it's there, but I can't actively play it. I can't.
Okay,
I just especially the way that I want to play it, because then I have to put down the other stuff and time, and hey, you still gotta have real life. So yeah.
I've been fighting FOMO for WWE. Still, so far I've won.
People having a good time with it.
It's just like, and MLB The Show also. I've been having FOMO for that
Oh
too.
yeah.
It's like there is so much out there right now, but part of the problem is, like, I know if I get one of these and eventually I'm able to make more time for it, there's something else. Like, the cadence of games right now is just absolutely insane, and it's going to be for the rest of the year and 2026. So I don't. It's like right now I'm like trying to be patient with them, and pick and choose my day ones. Like, I got Wilds also, but I haven't been able to put as much time into it, So it's like, and it's so good. It's so good, man. Again, just like I was talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, it just has that wow factor when playing it, Like, it's just so many awesome things to play right now. But yeah, dude, it's like more on the horizon. We had a whole showcase yesterday too. Future Game Show. But man, for the life of me, I can't remember a damn thing that was there except for the games that I already knew was gonna be there. I will say so Future Game Show, I did co-stream yesterday. So anybody that's interested in checking that out, you can go back and watch. It's up there on the channel. And they had kind of their spring showcase and had quite a few games. They had the typical, we have 2 voice actors here, we're gonna make a bunch of dumbass jokes unnecessarily. It was cool seeing Nolan North, and then I forget the name of the girls who plays Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate
Shadowheart.
3.
Yeah.
But
Shadowheart.
yeah, Shadowheart. And yeah, I mean, overall hosting wise, did a good job until they made them do stupid shit for the script or whatever. But games wise, I thought there was some cool stuff there. I wouldn't say there was anything that was like, oh my god, holy shit, nothing like that. But there was some cool reveals. I think at the end there was something that caught my eye that would look really good. But at the beginning, there was the first thing that was at the show was the People Can Fly game, and I was like, oh yeah, what's People Can Fly gonna show? And a lot of people were, say, is this gonna be the Xbox game? Like, it's too early to be the PlayStation game they just announced, but there was the Xbox one that was leaked. That supposedly they had like a $50 million deal with Xbox, so People Can Fly said, hey, keep an eye out, and we're like, okay, what's this? So, I was like, and then they said, start the show, People Can Fly. Oh, we're getting a People Can Fly game reveal. I fucking love People Can Fly. This is gonna be great. That game, I don't know. That, like, I usually get criticized for being too positive, okay? But I even made a post about that game because I was like, that just looked generic, boring, whatever. It's like I don't. It's just a horrible trailer. It's just like,
It was confusing because they supposedly stopped all their internal projects. Now, this one must have been too far along. Maybe they're
Yeah.
completing this one, but they came out because they make their reports like CDPR does, because the Polish government's invested into those studios. So they have to publicly make known what they are doing. And I could have swore they said they canceled all internal projects, but maybe this one was too far along. So they're completing this one, but after this one, no more internals. But they said they're going to focus on their partnerships, right? Which was obviously Xbox at the time, and now we know PlayStation as well. So whatever the case, that's why it threw me off. I'm like, wait a minute, this is their own game. But yeah, Mav, I gotta agree with you. Like when I saw it, I was like, because I love People Could Fly.
Yeah,
You
me
guys
too.
don't like. I'm a defender of People Could Fly. All right,
Outriders, I actually had a great time with. I mean, they had
we had a
Yeah.
great time with
Yeah.
Outriders. I want more Outriders, in fact. But anyways, People Could Fly. I love that studio. I was hoping Xbox was going to purchase them. If you could go back and watch our old shows, that was one of the studios I wanted Phil to pick up when he was looking in Poland. But that game threw me off. Again, survival games are a dime a dozen. We see a lot of them, but that didn't look like a People Can Fly. That looked like an indie studio survivor game. Like that didn't
exactly. It looks like the same thing I've seen a million times before
on PC, especially.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is like? Okay, cool. Like, if I'm ever, I don't know. Maybe it takes off. Maybe it could be something great. But I was just really disappointed to see People Can Fly's name in front of such a generic thing like that, and to lead off that show. So I mean, good thing that's not the Xbox game.
Yeah.
That would have been
Who knows?
something.
Maybe it just needs a Gilligan Island mod or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if that was an Xbox game, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's the Xbox game. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the thing. I don't know, man. I thought Eclair Obscure Expedition 33 showed really well again. Game just looks great. They had some developer commentary about South of Midnight that actually had some really cool shit in it, where they talked about the music and how the music is going to work in South of Midnight as well. And they described how, like, as you're going through a specific level, like parts of a song that's written originally for that level are revealed, and then when you get to the boss fight, it plays like the whole song. And there's like words and lyrics describing the story and the folk tale of what's going on. And I was like, that's just fucking badass. Like, that alone interests me to play through the level because of the music. And I just think that's a cool concept and something that's kind of original, and I don't know if it's been done in that way before. So I like when I see new shit in games. And you talking about revealing parts of a song and then having a song written for the level to be revealed, to expose story of what you're doing, adding to everything around you. I just thought that was cool as shit. So, props to Compulsion for coming up with that, because I don't know if I've ever seen that before in a game. So overall, I just also thought it looked good. And I'm trying to wrap my brain around the other stuff that looked cool. There's a couple things here and there. Kingmaker was great.
Yeah.
Kingmaker's
was
looking
the
better.
highlight, I think,
That-
outside of what we already knew.
Isn't that game that looks like mad random shit going on?
Yo, you
Like
bring
it-
modern day shit. You drive pickup trucks through armies, but now, Steel, you can have up to 3, but you can have up to 4 people all creating armies at the same damn time.
Yeah, you
So
could like
you could-
mow
this is
down
co-op
medieval
now.
soldiers with like
Yeah.
AK-47s and stuff like
And
that.
I didn't know that you were building your own castles and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yo,
I didn't know that either.
And it's got full destructibility of the building.
yes,
Yeah.
everything.
And it's a
And
cool
it's
thing.
dynamic destructibility. It's not nothing is pre-planned. Bro, it's looking so-
Something else they did when they were showing Kingmaker, that, as I'm remembering the show, as like I'm talking about it, right? Something they talked about when they were revealing Kingmaker. I like that they did this purposefully to try and get ahead of bullshit, because they specifically said, and we didn't move to Unreal Engine 5 because Unreal Engine 4 made that to where we're capable of doing these physics things that wasn't going to be capable in any other way. And it's almost like
better mastery over it.
And it's like a way of getting ahead of, like, people be like, oh, this is an Unreal 5. Oh, it's not going to be as good because it's not an Unreal 5. But they like made a point during this to say, hey, and this is and because of all these things we're doing here is the reason we went Unreal 4, because we tested Unreal 5, we tested all these other things, and this is what does our game the best with what we want to achieve with the kind of the ambition of destructibility and everything going on. I just thought it looked cool as shit, man. So, but I think the game's gonna probably have some bugs at launch. I don't know how.
Probably. I don't give a shit.
Fucking
It's just gonna be
crazy.
fun as hell.
Bugs will be fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be crazy shit. Thousands. They kept pointing out thousands of actual individual units on the screen
Yeah,
at the same
that
time.
have their
And
own thought processes
Yes.
and will run through
Yes.
castles and kind of
they specifically said it's not like a Musu. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Dynasty Warriors thousands. It's actual individual dudes who are going to fight independently of each other. Like it's not just all gang up mob, like one big giant mob. And they showed it, and you could tell that's what it was. And they said that when you get 4 players together, you guys are all going to be able to enjoy taking on those thousands at the same time. Bro, just all of us having freaking tanks driving around. Yo, it's going to be fucking crazy. That game
Yeah.
was so much fun.
Was there any other standouts for you guys from the Future Games show?
Sure there was. I haven't gone back and rewatched it though. So I haven't had
Didn't they re-show the Bloober game again?
Yeah.
That
They did.
looking forward to that one. I can't remember the name of it. I just know it's like space time travel kind of, or space suit for time travel, where you're supposed to go back and get these intellectuals, move to the future because they're, I guess they can solve the problems of the world or something. It was the one where they were playing chess in that previous trailer, but yeah, I can't remember the name of that game, but I really want to play that one.
They had Onomotion 2 there, but that was more or less just kind of talking about it. Not a whole lot of footage that I can remember.
No. If I was a horror guy, that animal use protocol looks fucked up.
Yeah.
That's the one with the chimpanzee with the
yeah.
with the mouse with the
Tamagotchi. It had a Tamagotchi on its ass.
And it's talking to you the whole time.
Yeah.
Yo, when that thing came out of the dark though and grabbed the chimpanzee started screaming. I was like, well, this is fucked up, man. What the fuck is going on, man?
System Shock 2 20th anniversary master was shown. Night Dive.
Yeah.
I'm going through the different games to try and
System Shock 1, by the way, is great. I did start playing. I haven't mentioned I started playing that like a month ago. I picked up the remake. They did Night Dive is fantastic, and System Shock 1 is for anybody who's, I always like to remind people of this because not everybody knows. System Shock is the game that inspired Ken Levine to make BioShock. All right, so this is like the spiritual. BioShock was a spiritual successor to System Shock in a lot of ways. So if you ever want to go back and find out why Ken had a lot of ideas that he did, you go to these games. They are, I mean, they're old, but Night Dive does such a great job. It is a pleasure playing these games, to be honest. I can't wait for System Shock 2. So it looks dope.
Yeah. Then there was a Hawthorne. I remember you were intrigued by that game before.
Oh, the animal one? I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, we get to fly around on the owls and shit. Yeah, that looked kind of fun. I heard you say you didn't know if you had ever played a game as an animal that you actually enjoyed.
Well, I've played games of animal characters before, obviously I've enjoyed like that. But I mean where it's like, this is the animal simulation kind of game. You know what I mean?
It's not. It's an open world adventure game, bro. You're just hanging out. You're flying on freaking owls, for God's sakes, man.
Yeah, maybe I would. I don't know. I just can't think of one like where I'm like, oh, I'm a deer prancing through the fucking woods, or I'm an owl. Oh, I gotta find a smaller bird to eat or a mouse or something. I can't recall playing as. I mean, I played like, what's the Vermintide? You're a fucking rat guy. You're those kind of things. I like.
Sure, well, of course, but that's different too. But anyways,
It's stuff like
mutant.
Oh, we got didn't we get the return of Painkiller here too? Wasn't that showing off at
Yes, that one looked great.
Bro, the return of Painkiller. Oh, Painkiller was another freaking Doom-esque first person shooter back in the day. They're bringing it back. This new one, holy shit, this looks good, man. This looks really good. I can't wait.
Let's see. Hell Clock looked pretty good. It's another roguelike. Romestead was another kind of like build up your civilization kind of game,
What was the side scroll RPG?
Yeah,
what was
action
that?
RPG. Which one was that? Yeah, that looked really great. Because I thought it was. I didn't think it was an action RPG, but then they started showing the loot, and I'm like, oh wait. What was that called? No, that wasn't. Is that Cloudheim?
I'm trying this.
That sounds. That might be it.
Trying to remember. there's so many games. So some things like at
I
these kind
know,
of shows like
but
this.
it's like nuts.
Frosthaven looked pretty cool.
Yeah, Frostbite looked good. Clouding the one, or is that the different one?
Oh, Mecha Break was there. It looked great again.
Yeah.
No release date still. Let's see. What
Nope,
else?
Cloudheim is not it.
Reanimal looked great at the end there. FBC Firebreak I thought looked awesome.
Yeah.
That's coming to Game Pass day and date, and also to PS Plus Extra day and date. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what was that fucking game, guys. There was also the Texas game set in Texas, a side-scrolling like game where you're like zombie game kind of. That looked pretty cool.
Oh,
Or bandits. It was
Man
bandits.
Dragon
Yeah.
or Man Agora.
Yeah,
Mandragora.
yeah.
Mandragora.
Yes,
Okay.
that looked dope.
Was the Texas one a zombie game? I can't remember. But it was set in like Texas and like it was side scrolling. It had really good graphics. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you remember the other one that looked really cool? Neighbors Suburban Warfare. This looked like stupid fucking fun.
I didn't see that one.
This was like a multiplayer like brawler kind of first person shooter esque.
Okay.
You know, like you know, it's like you can be like a grandpa versus like the 6-year-old across the street versus another grandma that's from another house, and then there's like some lady, and you just like it's just neighbors outside in the neighborhood in like a cul-de-sac, and you just grab like a fucking rake or whatever and use things as weapons, and it's just like a shooter like that. It reminds me kind of like the old like Nintendo 64 like South Park games like that. You remember? It kind of is where it shows like a picture of a lady with a golf club and then a guy with like a fucking rolling pin, and like it just looked chaotic, stupid fun. Anyway,
Chains of Freedom tactical.
oh yes.
There's a demo out on Steam right now too, so go grab it.
Oh, and
but yeah, Chains of Freedom look great.
Will Follow the Light from inspired by Firewatch. Look pretty good. Story based.
Okay, I don't know if I saw that one. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I gotta rewatch it anyways.
Yeah. My memory is such shit. So yeah, I think that game was Cloudheim.
No, it was not. Because if you look at it, it's 3D. No, that's the Mandragoon one.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. Is it Mandragora or Dragon?
Mandragora. Mandragora.
Mandragora. Okay, yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. All right. So, yeah, kind of recap. Sorry, there was this show yesterday was a blur from FGS, so I kind of had to look back. Even though I was sitting there watching it with everybody there in the chat, it's just trying to remember so many damn games. But yeah, overall, there's some pretty good stuff there. You know, it was a future game show, so it's not like you're expecting like, you know, a summer game showcase type level thing from any of the platform holders or anything like that. But overall, I thought there was some cool stuff there. Yeah, guys. Speaking of some things that happened this week, a little bit of a surprise with Xbox maybe accidentally leaking something because they put it on Xbox Wire and promptly removed it. Was a picture of a UI. And this UI is on multiple devices. It's on the TV via an Xbox console. You can clearly see because the Xbox console Series X is next to the TV with the power button on the Xbox and then the screen on the TV. Then you have like a tablet, you have a phone, I think like maybe a laptop or something as well. And they all got this image, right? Shown on the screen. And it's like, okay, well it's looking through the library of games that you have. Well, the interesting thing about this, and somebody brought this up during the stream yesterday, but I didn't realize this had just happened, so I thought they were just talking about the rumors at the time. And then I got caught up because I noticed your DM Pong when you put it in all the DMs after about this leak that just happened. There's a Steam tab on this UI across all these different devices. And the Steam tab also has next to it owned, just like it does on the other tabs. There's filters where it has owned games or whatever. There's like two tabs that say owned. One's next to Steam and one's next to the other one. Which is very, very interesting. And I think some people saw the image and Xbox were like, "Oh shit, we shouldn't have put this out." Now, we can assume many things, but we don't necessarily know all the answers here. But it would appear to me that this is probably something that I think they're talking to all the developers about at GDC right now. Something that they're doing behind the scenes, something that has been rumored for a long time, something that they've also talked about trying to unify storefronts, right? Trying to unify the ecosystem, combine Windows and Xbox into one thing. Notice there was also a gaming handheld that said ROG on the bottom of that image as well, which is Asus, which is also kind of goes in line with the fact that there is an Asus partnership of a potential handheld coming out maybe even this year, as was in the in different leaks and rumors going around. So it seems the evidence is mounting this time from Xbox itself that Steam will be part of this new unified Xbox ecosystem experience. No timetable on when that could be. Now maybe that's also in their plans, but it isn't cemented yet. Maybe it's something they're working on. Don't know. But I kind of want to know overall, first off, just like, do we take this image as in this is happening and and this is going to be promotional material later and they just accidentally put it out early? Or is this do we take it as this is a concept of what we want to do type image? And I guess I'll start with you, Fuzz, on that.
My thoughts are, since there was 2 action adventure tabs, 2 own tabs, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is a snapshot that has been of a working operating system that they have in the background, and then they just copied and pasted the picture on the other devices with some minor changes, like the laptop shows them more in like a list format as opposed to the icons on the handheld and on the TV and stuff like that. And then it looks like on the phone or iPad and stuff like that, it's similar more to the handheld and the TV. I think this is a working concept that they're showing that was probably not meant to be seen or it wasn't supposed to be as clear as it was, even though you have to zoom in to see it. You can clearly read the tabs, and Steam is a very interesting tab to have. Now, if it had Epic on there as well, it might really set the internet on fire. But I think because of the rumors we've heard of before with them talking to Gabe and Phil talking about having Steam or Steam library on an Xbox console, I think this is something that they're working on having happen. And we'll see if this upcoming handheld has that capability as well. I can't really see why it wouldn't, unless Gabe has some sort of objection to it. But in his eye, he's probably looking at, well, now I get, the potential access to more console gamers buying some of the stuff, because there's still going to be some smaller titles that will be PC only, at least for like a year or two, and then maybe come to console. Some of them may never come to console. So from Gabe's standpoint, it's only an up for him. And for Xbox, if they can capitalize on, somebody that might already be a Steam customer and a console owner, this might be that device that rules them all for that customer. So I hope this happens. I hope this happens soon. I hope this happens to the point where they can have the OS installable on current Steam Decks, ROG Allies, Legion Goes, MSI Claws, and the hundreds of other Neo or whatever handhelds that are out there and things like that. So, but yeah, that would be awesome because still building my Steam library. As I said, I'm making a conscious choice to not spend as much in the Xbox ecosystem, but still benefited from it with the whole Game Pass and stuff like that. Signed up for Ubisoft through Xbox, although it probably would have been better to sign up directly with Ubisoft, but lesson learned. But yeah, it's awesome to see this official from Xbox image as opposed to it being like, oh, somebody found this in a forum post or something like that. This was actually on their blog, their official blog, and then when they, attention was drawn to it, they're like, oops. Now, if that was intentional, I wouldn't be surprised if it was accidentally intentional, but who knows? We may never know the inside baseball for that story, but I honestly, the way Xbox is moving right now, I think it was accidentally intentional. But that's just me.
Yeah, I maybe it could be. I just put it on the screen right now. You can see you have recently added, installed, owned Game Pass, Steam, owned action adventure, and then action adventure. Then you have the same thing here. This is a looks like a tablet. You have a phone. This is a laptop. You have the handheld gaming device, and you can clearly see that this is the Xbox Series X with the TV screen shown with that too. So my initial thing was thinking like, oh, it's just probably a look at the early PC thing where they're just gonna try and incorporate the PC library, to make it accessible on a PC to where we can open up the Steam games within the Xbox app or whatever. But being that this is a shot of the console as well. I think this is the idea where we've talked about numerous times about that unified application or kind of launcher in a way, or a storefront, all these other kind of things, to where you have one thing now where the PC isn't really different than the console experience. The console experience isn't going to be different from the cloud experience. The cloud experience isn't going to be different from the mobile experience or any of that stuff, where it's just like no matter where you are or what you're on, you can just launch into this Xbox launcher storefront, access all your content and your library for your games, right? And I think this is what they're working towards, and this is going to be like what we have for next gen, which sounds fucking amazing. But Pong, do you think this is just concept, or do you think this is an actual image clear of what they are just working on to get ready for?
I think it's beyond concept. I think this is
Yeah.
a clear image of what they're working towards. It's a step at a time, right? This is merging storefronts so that you can have one launcher isn't necessarily new, right? You can
Yeah. You
merge.
can
I think you
add.
could merge like Steam into GOG, right? And you can just pull up your GOG
You
launcher.
can even move like Xbox
Yeah.
games into Steam,
Right.
but like it
Right.
doesn't really work right. But you can if
Right.
you know how to do it.
Right. So this is the beginning of the visions that we've been talking about, but I think this is legit. Like because of all the smoke around next gen and what's happening, this is a part of that UI integration, which is what you and Fuzzy were just talking about, Matt, that we have been discussing, that Jason Rowd's been out here talking about. This is that seamless transition from no matter what device you're on, but obviously it's got to come in steps too, where we get to the point where everything's playable. But I think that that's what's happening with the next gen console and handheld down the road when the Xbox actually does their first party handheld is what I'm talking about. Obviously the Asus version of Xbox's handheld is going to be just like all the other handhelds that we see now, like the Steam Deck and stuff. But yeah, I think this is it, man. I mean, this is what we've been kind of hitting around at and looking for, and hopefully, I mean, I want to say that they've got a great relationship with Uncle Gabe, and so I think they probably got some of that stuff worked out. Now, like Fuzzy brought up, let's see Epic in there, let's see GOG in there, which again is Epic, especially is one that Phil brought up specifically when he was talking about this back last year. So, but if this is the case, then this is transitioning that UI and storefront towards a box that is going to be hybrid, that is going to, like you said, Mav, blur the line between console and PC to give you access to your full library no matter where you are at the time. Again, because it's going to be the same UI they use across all devices, whether that is cloud streaming, whether that is AI enhanced, to get the games to work on other devices, straight up underneath your, the box next to your TV or on your handheld or on your PC. They want to be the one-stop shop, and they want to be Xbox everywhere, like they've been saying. Like that's what they're doing. So this is it, man. And I think that's why that's why they pulled it down. Like you said, it's probably something they're already showing their partners, because we know they're selling. That's what they're doing right now. They're selling the partners, but they didn't pull it down fast enough. But that's why they pulled it down, because this is legit.
Yeah.
It tells us, man, they're getting there, brother. They're getting there. Like this is the enticing part of what we've all talked about. If they're going this route, this is what you got to do, man. You got to make it enticing for me, and I love it. I think it's cool as shit if they're gonna pull this off. So let's go.
I mean, what better value in a device than to be able to access every game you could possibly buy? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
for
what?
Exactly. Hey, you could get it from here, get it from here, get it from here.
Yeah.
And and again, the key part of that, like PC gamers, like I can already do that. So a lot of games that you may already have on a console library that you can't access on PC. So for console gamers, that's a very important thing. And so that's been the key aspect of trying to figure all this out with licensing and all that stuff. And supposedly that's what they're working on. We've been talking about it numerous times about. I think it's been all hands on deck. This is why we haven't seen some of the other updates or maybe some of the other things that we've been wanting. I think they are crunching. I know that it's a loaded word with gaming, but they are really trying to get and go full force into figuring all this out between Windows, between the Xbox teams, between the hardware teams and everything to get this ready. And because I think it's a key part of who they are going to be now. And it's for me as a gamer, like I know I've seen a lot of arguments. I'll get to you in a minute on this too, Steel. I've seen a lot of arguments about, well, like what, but Xbox is just going to sabotage themselves again because who cares about their storefront if you put Steam on it and all these other kind of things. And my answer to that, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you give me a device where I can play and access my Steam library and my Xbox library, and I have Game Pass on it, I have everything I could possibly want to have access to on as far as my games, that's the device I am going to own. And I am already in the Xbox ecosystem. And if you don't think the possibility of people being interested in a device like that, I think you're missing the boat as well. And the other thing is, if the default system and launcher that you're going to be going into to access all this stuff is Xbox, it's going to be pretty fucking hard to ignore that for a lot of these customers that maybe aren't even used to using Xbox. And maybe there's a game that's cheaper than that storefront for whatever sale, and you start building up a library between different stores and stuff. And for consumers, that's what we should want, because we should want competition between the storefronts, because that's what the future holds, especially with digital ownership. We should want competitions between Steam, Epic, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, everything. We should want competition for our money, for our time. And if you give me the devices that could become kind of a standard as far as Windows-based devices that are out there, including Xboxes, they're going to have access to all that. Who wins? We do. At the end of the day. And you don't think that Xbox just cares about selling as many games as possible and getting as many subscriptions as possible? That's something they could absolutely do through that method as well. So it's very intriguing, very interesting, and if this actually pans out, is a disruption for the industry. Again, it is just changing things 100%. Steel, did you think this is a idea that they are not cemented on, that they're trying to pitch to get it through? Or do you think this is happening and we just got an early look at it on accident. It's still there, still gone. He's on mute there, but bro.
Nope, I'm here.
Yeah, you're
I'm
okay.
here. I'm here. Sorry.
You good?
No, I'm at a point with it to where if they haven't been working on this in the entire time, at least for the last 3 to 4 years, and seeing what's possible, I that would be the only way that I would lose faith in Microsoft's direction. Mainly because I do not see another platform doing anything different enough outside of Nintendo, and I don't think Nintendo's doing something that's so different outside of giving you let's say just quote unquote unique games, if we want to call it that. Those games are obviously not for me, right? There are some like Astral Chain, right, that kind of get lost in the ethos because of the way that I would prefer to play such games. But if I had a device that was very PC like, or at least would give me options to access some PC like functions, maybe I could buy a copy and do things my own way. No. Within all seriousness, this is probably the easiest direction and path of least resistance for Microsoft, and they're the only company that at least in the gaming industry, that can go this direction. Whether people want to say, oh well, Game Pass has completely devalued the brand and there's no reason to get an Xbox, and again, I don't know whether people want to believe it or not. Xbox has always given you a reason to invest in the platform, but people made their decisions. We can always go back to, oh, well, it's always about games. There's been games and the games haven't been enough. So if it's not, the other thing too is because there's not very many things that are different between the pieces of hardware, the only other place that you can go is to become more PC like, to make it easier for developers to create one version of a game that can be scaled up or down, and that will allow a hardware company like Sony to put more R&D dollars into making a device that would be beneficial for their consumer base, and get back to why we had exclusives in the first place. We had exclusives because some platforms were able to do things that other platforms weren't able to do. We have exclusives on PlayStation side of things, as we found out from the court documents that Microsoft went through with getting ABK, that Sony purposefully cut deals to make sure that their competition cannot play ball. Now, at the end of the day, it's always going to be on Microsoft to make whatever decision that they need to do. And I've conceded the fact that I do think that ABK has shook more bones than I maybe even previously thought. But that doesn't change how I see what the future is for Microsoft. Making a user interface that is easily accessible, that you will not be able to tell whether it's a PC or not. It's the same thing that you're getting right now. The only thing the Xbox is, the only thing the PlayStation is just a user interface that they have created so that you can easily access your gaming content in the traditional way that you always had. And it's built that way. Now, when you incorporate more of Windows into it, there's a reason they're creating Windows Lite. That is something that is official from Microsoft, not, oh, I got it from a buddy who ripped everything out and made it condensed for me so I can download and have a good file. No, this is official from Microsoft Windows Lite. There's a reason that they're doing these things. And I get if people don't want to have the belief in say, oh, well, this is the Windows Phone, or this is this, or this is any of the other failed projects. They have spent the most money they have ever spent in their company history in gaming. I don't think that this is any one of those other directions for them. I think they see an avenue to where they can cross some divides, and if the cost is losing some console gamers, although we're still going to deliver you a piece of hardware, although we're going to make sure that our brand partners are putting their best foot forward, although we're going to bring back competition in the hardware market where it really matters. if we want to talk about hardware, hey, console guys, you want more hardware? We need competition in the hardware space, because just doing it between Xbox and PlayStation is not enough. Nintendo's going to do what they're going to do regardless. So at this point, why not cross the divides? And that's the thing that's the hardest to grasp for me still is, in some ways it's not, because you have a Windows computer that already has access to Steam, to Xbox, to Epic. What would be different than Xbox making an official version for themselves of that?
Dude, yeah,
I just don't
100%
hiding it behind a UI.
like
There's no difference. There's not a problem now. Then if there's not a problem with the way that it's happening right now, and I get people's biggest contention is like, oh, I don't want a PC. But that's what we're telling you though. If you don't know that it's a PC, you've already have not known about your current pieces of hardware that are literally PCs. You're swapping NVMe's out now. You're talking about SSDs. Like we're moving into that territory, and it's only going to get closer. So if the PS6 is going to be more PC-like or be of that ilk, the next Xbox is going to be of that ilk. Wouldn't it make sense for Microsoft to take something that already exists on their platform that nobody has a problem with and implement that into their console? Isn't that innovation from Microsoft, and also them actually getting Office in the living room like they originally wanted to?
Right. Yeah.
Just giving you the option, because you can hit dev mode right now when you're Xbox Series X.
As long as they can make a convenience deal. That's the only thing.
That's the only thing. It has to have the
normies.
UI to make like the Windows Phone, right?
has to
Y'all
be
like the
for the
Windows Phone. The Windows Phone had a decent user interface, right?
The tiles?
You
The
can't,
tiles are great.
bro. What if they bring the tiles or some forms of that system to? It
As
could
long
be
as it's
so easy.
seamless, as long
Again,
as it's
you
just
press a
easy
button.
for the normies, right? As long as
Yeah.
it's not some big major thing where people look at it as this, instruction list of things you got to do and settings and all that shit. As long as it keeps the convenience,
It has to
of
be
the
seamless.
console,
Yes, 100%. I agree.
it'll be.
I
adopted.
think it's going to look like kind of what the Xbox UI looks like now. It's just going to incorporate the other storefronts and libraries,
I just don't get how people can't imagine it when you're already doing it right now. It's just, what if I put it in your console and you can't tell the difference?
Yeah,
And you just have access to these things.
it's interesting
I don't
too,
know.
man, because it's like we already live in this world on PC, right? And people have for a long time. Like, yeah, like there's exclusivity on PC between storefronts. Like, hey, this game's only in the Epic Game Store. This game's only on Steam, or this game's only on, Ubisoft Store or whatever, right? Or the Xbox Store. And that was a thing in the past, but like, Xbox games go to Steam too. But
Mhm.
like, exclusivity exists within storefronts on PC today to an extent, right?
Mhm.
But nobody really is like, oh, like, I can't play that game because it's somewhere else. They'll just get the game where it's either the best price or going to play
You
it
got the hardware.
where it's available because you have the device that's
Mhm.
accessible to all the storefronts, right? And it creates the best competition space because we have all of that on the same place. And Steam has a foothold on it dramatically on PC. But we already live in this world in one place, right? And for me, like that's something that's like just been kept to PC, right? This console can only access these games that are sold in this store and that are made from this publisher. And let's have this box that is dedicated just purely for that. And there's something special about that. There always has been in the past because
Sure,
it kind of
yeah.
feels like tailored to it and all these other kind of things. But
It's still
as time has gone on, and as you said, like these consoles are becoming more PC like. For me, it's like, man, I just get more frustrated at the games that aren't on the consoles, right? Or the games that I have in my library now that I can't access on my PC. And that's who I've evolved into as a gamer. Like if I have a huge library on Xbox, like hundreds and hundreds of games. I can't access all those on the PC right now because of just technicality license things where they just won't give you dual ownership or dual entitlement, right? And it's like for me as a gamer, okay, well, if that's a barrier that's broken and like essentially we live in this world where even if something isn't Xbox anywhere, I can just get it in a different storefront or get it, like if it's on Steam, I have it on PC or there. And if the Xbox entitlement in the future is also always dual entitlement because it's just one ecosystem anyway, then it's just where does the best deal for me. And then the Game Pass goes along for the ride. And really the UI is just a consumer friendly, like Pong said, ease of use kind of access to make it friendly for console gamers that don't want to deal with all the PC shit. And that's the equally important part of it, right? Because like the gaming handhelds right now, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, why does this Xbox even doing this Asus thing with Asus?" Because it's like don't need to do that because they have their own coming in a couple years. It's just confusing and stuff. And I'm like, we already have these devices now. There's already ROG allies out there that are Windows that have access to all the same library of games that you would have access to onto this Xbox one. The difference is they're making it more friendly for users. So like if Lenovo comes out with a Xboxy OS or Xbox launcher with this UI in the future or a different lighter version of it as I build up to this, then it's just the same thing as like a Lenovo Legion Go that's available right now that would run Windows that would be running a better user-friendly version of Windows that like Xbox. That's what Xbox is, right? It is Xbox is one storefront right now on a console, but it is a user-friendly access point to make it friendly for us to be able to pick up our controller and just easy access to everything without dealing with all the PC bullshit and hook it up to your TV.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I not be interested in Xbox making the experience on those Windows-based devices that are already exist and keep coming out more user-friendly and better for all the gamers? And I think they see that and know that that's work that they're doing and they have to do if they want to be competitive in that space. And it's like, well, we needed to do that. We need to do that. We're doing it on PC. We're doing all this work on PC as well to try and enhance that experience. And it's going to be on this growing handheld market. The PC market is exploding again and growing exponentially. And we're trying to compete there. And we have all these games launching on there. And then people are playing them on the handhelds. And then we have 30, 40 million gamers on the consoles. Why don't we just make them all the same fucking community? Why does there have to be this like thing where it's like these are these kind of gamers, these are these kind of gamers, and these are these kind of gamers? It's just like let's just let them access the games wherever they want to play, and let's make it easy for them to do that. And I think that's their vision for the future of the brand of Xbox. And I think that's part of the reason why they don't care as much about doing exclusives anymore, as well, because they see this whole thing that we haven't foreseen in the past because we're so used to console gaming the way it's always been in the past. But I think as time goes and we see more images like this and we see more devices come out and we see more updates and we see more conversations from them and a revealing of the hardware and how things are going to work, I think things are going to reveal themselves to us and be like, oh, okay, but they got to execute. Right, so they got to execute. I think again, it's all hands on deck to get it done. I imagine that this first ROG device or Asus device that is going to come out will be kind of like a starting point into that, and then we'll see more updates and stuff go on leading into next gen. Where I hope by that time everything is cohesive and done and we're ready to dive into this future that looks like is better for me as a gamer. So right now it's like, okay, is this game Xbox Anywhere? this game stream your own game? Is this game like where is it? Like if I buy on Steam, I can't play it on my console. If I yeah, I hate having to make this decision, and it's something 6-7 years ago I never would have even fucking thought about. It's just buy the game on the Xbox, right? But it's not Xbox's fault that I changed. It's just technology and gaming habits
Yeah,
and all these
the
other
industry.
things, and the industry like has changed my habits and how I experience things. And they see those trends, and they see those trends changing. And I know like a lot of gamers in the chat may be like, no, let's just for me it's just a console and I just access the store, right? Like I used to be the same way. But I think more people are starting to do different things. Handheld devices,
deeper than
cloud
that, bro.
gaming, and all this other kind of stuff. The younger audiences that are growing up are used to gaming on different kinds of devices and all these other kind of things too. And like overall, it's like they're seeing all these things, and it's like, well, the old ways was great, you know, but they want to be ahead and of the new way of accessing things in the future. With the digital libraries is what we should be asking for, right? So for me, I hope that image comes to fruition and it's just magic. I hope that I can just click on my Steam game or Epic or whatever and just scroll down, click on it, it loads up just like it would on a console today, and I play my game and I'm like, hey, this is awesome, right? And
No, the limitation would probably be if each individual store didn't have a user-friendly UI setup already. Like the Xbox doing it with Steam would be almost flawless because Steam already has big picture mode. So with that, it would kind of be a seamless transition. And once you're in big picture mode, it's kind of speaks for itself. So each individual ecosystem would still be what it is. And
Mhm.
I saw people mentioning like the different cuts and everything, who's going to get what cut of what. Again, when it comes to that side of it, it's really hard to get into what the specifics are going to be, right? Because at the end of the day as well, Game Pass is also still having an effect, and we don't know how great or how less of an effect that's having on things. Again, people are still talking about right now that Game Pass is the reason why Xbox is failing and why all of this is transpiring in the first place. So with that being said, I don't know what the answers are on the money side of things. I will say, hey, if there's a possibility for you to get more gamers spending more money than they were before, uh, that is a possible way for you to make up that difference on what people are not spending within your ecosystem. But again, Xbox also offers so many advantages to buying games in their ecosystem. And again, there is still competition happening, right? To what Matt was speaking to, that Xbox Play Anywhere thing, if they are literally able to get whatever game that you buy in the Xbox ecosystem, as long as you have access to the Xbox ecosystem, you can play those games. That's going to make whatever device you buy, you're going to consider that, right? Like if they release a handheld, they've released this, if you can literally just transfer whatever your data is, kind of how they do with the cloud right now, and AI is able to help with some of that, whatever the case may be, it's only going to be an advantage for you as a gamer and give you more benefits than ever before. And I saw Shane and other people talk about as well, like well, you better be prepared to spend $800 and $900. No, $600 is still going to be my max on buying a console. It is up to you to innovate in that box. I do not need the box to become a 5080 with the no. I am on the side of things. I am the gamer. I am the consumer that says these devs need to be working off of mid-tier hardware so that they can have one version of a game that can be scaled up or down, so they can have an actual expectation. We are already placing too many crutches on them using DLSS, using frame gen. We're not getting organic performance as is, or we're getting makeup to cover up the scars or the imperfections in our games that are not releasing in a good state as is. So the onus needs to be put back into the company and give the devs easier ways to create these games, so they're not, oh, I need to create this version of this version of this. No, let's create one version, make it more beneficial for everybody. That cuts down costs dramatically, and I think that will also help elevate the quality of your games, because now you're setting the expectation. Now, hey, as long as you come under this barometer, we're good to go. Because the other thing too, we're still talking about PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in 2025. We're about to go into 26, and I think games are still going to come out on those pieces of hardware, along with this, the statistics and everything, talking about gamers playing, games that are 5 years plus older. So there's just so many advantages to what Xbox can like play into to give people reasons to want to stay in their ecosystem. Again, it's the reason that I am not in the Xbox ecosystem for its exclusives or because the console looks good. I am here because the ecosystem has kept me here since 2001. It's the only ecosystem that has given me everything that I have wanted as a gamer. Again, when people were, making fun of folks paying for online back in the day, you had some confidence in paying for online because of how the infrastructure was set up. All the cheating issues and stuff people were going, you didn't have that on console back. You had other things, fucking lag switches and whatnot. But other than that, it was the experience that you're getting. They've only doubled, quadrupled, and continue to build up on that experience as they move into the future. At least to me, it seems like they keep continuing to have that in consideration, and seems to be the direction that they're moving into. So
You muted, Mav?
I think,
Oh
yeah,
shit! Sorry,
He's
man.
frozen.
What am I
Damn.
doing? I was muted. Shit, a horrible host. Sorry. Yeah, so saying a lot of good thoughts there. Still, I agree with all that too. I see a lot of the conversations going on in the chat and I have on social media and all this kind of stuff, and people making the arguments on why it can't work. But like, I think that
it's
just
fun.
overall, like the lost on many is just like this is a new world. It's not. They're not playing the same game business wise Xbox would that they've been
None of them
with
are.
it, just the console space, console versus console type mentality. Like it's a completely different. They just want as many people to fucking buy the games as possible. Like at this point,
PC is the
and
biggest growth vector right now.
yeah, it's
What else are you supposed to do about it? You can't, these companies can't ignore that either. If the console market has been stagnant for 20 years and you keep hitting the same numbers, it just rearranges who has number one or who has number two, number three, whatever. And the only market that really grows and grows pretty significantly is the PC market. There has to be something that's telling you like, oh, well, there are more games coming to PC. Oh, well, there is more access coming to the different platforms. Oh, well, it does make sense to release games. You have more devs than ever coming out and saying, "Hey, we want people to be able to play our games. We want you to wish list it. We want to get it out there because of the cost of there is associated with making games." So I don't know.
yeah, man. I mean, it's like and again, at the end of the day, I don't. They're making these decisions for a reason, and I look at my benefit, not Microsoft's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is in it for me as a customer? And
Yeah.
yeah, we always can have fun speculating on like, will it work? Will it be a success? I just hope they execute on
Yeah.
it, because if they execute on it, then I'm winning. I'm pretty sure they understand what they're doing. I'm sure they do a lot of analytics and stuff. I don't know how accurate they are. I mean, they've obviously all these companies make horrible decisions
I
at
would hope
times.
so.
You know what I mean? But I think they probably have a good understanding of the numbers. And it's like we could sit and argue like, but 12% versus 30%, Game Pass, and Steam's gonna take over, and nobody's gonna use the Xbox storefront. So what's the point? And all these things. I'm like, okay, as long as I can use the Xbox storefront, I'm fucking happy. You know what I mean? As long as I have access to my games, I'm happy. If I have access to Game Pass, I'm happy. If I can access my Xbox games, my Steam games, and my Epic games from that device, I'm fucking happy. And it's like I think a lot of people are just wanting Xbox to win in some way still, instead of focusing on what's best for us as gamers and consumers.
blank.
And if we live in a world where all the devices that we game on have access to every storefront, that's where we win. That's where we win as consumers and gamers. Where we can play Nintendo games on whatever we want. We can play PlayStation games on whatever we want. We can play Xbox games on whatever we want. Steam games, whatever we want. Wherever you are, wherever you are in the future, 20 years from now, a game you bought today, or whatever device you have, you can still play that game. No matter where you bought it. That's where
because of the price point of a Nintendo Switch, right? Especially for the Switch 2. Because of the price point, no matter what, Nintendo could come out tomorrow and say the brand new Pokemon game is going to be releasing on PC the same day, and they're still going to sell the same amount of hardware regardless because of the price point that they're selling it at and because of the convenience factor. You're going to give your kid a Switch. You're not going to give your kid your whole computer or your Steam Deck or your higher expense piece of your Xbox whatever, Series X Pro Plus. You're not going to do that. You're going to give them the device that is tailored for them. It's in the phone market, it's in the tablet market, it's in the watch market. Like all of these other hardware markets have these types of things that are happening within their ecosystem already. We are placing the competition back into the hardware. And that's what's like, people don't, I feel like people don't see that and are so focused on, oh, well, if it's not exclusives, then, oh, the hardware don't matter and this, that. But the hardware doesn't matter now.
But
What's
still,
the difference?
Nintendo obviously disagrees with you.
Nintendo's an outlier here because they make such a big
But they
profit on their
right,
hardware,
but they
yeah.
obviously disagree. If it was if they didn't think that there was anything that was going to take away from their
I think they're just being
platform by
hard-headed.
putting out you could say that, but from a
I think they're
business
missing out. I think bro, I can tell you right now, if they would have released Astro Chain 3 years late, whatever the case might have been, $60 on PC, they would have made substantially so much
understand,
more money than
right,
what they would have had right now.
and I generally
They could have
agree
played the
with
same
you.
game. It makes no sense not to play the game other than, oh, we're just going to stick to our guns. And it does feel like the thing I'll say to Nintendo, and I'll give it back. The thing I'll say to Nintendo is very adamant about sticking to their guns, about what works for them and making sure. And I think that's for lack of a better way to put it, that's that little kid spirit that they still have, where it makes you feel special having their device.
So that is a benefit, right? I agree with you from the money standpoint. I agree with you on most of this stuff. But this goes back to devaluating your brand. And obviously, Nintendo does believe that doing that would devalue the Nintendo brand. And from what you just said, and how people are very
is the Nintendo brand the hardware or the games? What is their brand?
It's both, and it always has been for them.
I think it's more so the games than it is the hardware. It has to be.
But the
hardware is the
reason. But still, there's a reason why their underpowered machines have outsold better machines. There's a reason why
price point. Yeah,
PlayStation got out of the handheld market, even though PSP and Vita had found a foothold. They got out. There's a reason why, though. So I would say that Nintendo, again, is the one, I've called it an outlier like Mav just did, right? They swim in their own pond, whatever, because of how they do things. It does still prove that there is value in the old way. The only reason why I'm bringing this up, because it does, you can't just say, well, they're just being dumb or hard-headed and they're just not doing it because they're just being stubborn. No, that's not true because they are still a company and they still are out there to make money and they make oodles of fucking money, right? So they nickel and dime their customers to death. Again, I've called them just as greedy a company as PlayStation or Xbox. Like they are fucking ridiculous. Again, what they charged for fucking cardboard with Nintendo stamped on it was stupid. Okay. So they still nickel and dime their customers. So they're still in it for the money. I just think that dismissing it as just being hard headed, I don't think that.
But it has to be at this
No,
point. And
they've proven
at this point in gaming, it would have to
because
be. And I only say that because at the end of the day, they sell hardware because of their games, because of that nostalgia, and their games being accessible in more places would only make them more money. The same amount of people would still buy Nintendo Switches because they're not going to buy a $1,000 PC, a $1,500 PC just to play Nintendo games. Not everybody's going to do that. And if they do that, you know who that benefits? Us as the consumer and the gaming industry in totality. So I would have to take it as Nintendo is they are okay with being where they are. And because they have been the little kid of the industry to bring we still make gaming special. You got to remember it's still about having fun. Because that's all that it is. It's not the graphics, not nothing else. It's game development.
But there's nothing
like Pong. Like I think the best
but
example.
They literally took handhelds to another level. They literally had
through innovation
Steam come out with the Steam Deck because of the Switch.
Yes.
So again, you can't just say it's the games. You can't. Because of the games,
you can innovate on the hardware.
And I don't like that. You're coming from the guy who hasn't bought one, right? I understand that, but what I'm saying, Steele, is it does lay out the foundation for the argument that people still have that there is a way to do this. And yes, I agree. They have produced cheaper hardware using old technology, which has worked for decades because their fan base doesn't expect them to put out Unreal Engine 5 games because they've got a whole lineup of devs
the games we like to play.
Right. And
but they want access to those games.
But what I'm saying is that Nintendo still proves the point that exclusivity does work in this day and age, whether we want to argue it or not. And I think that it is more brand specific as to why they don't want to put it elsewhere. And I think we're kind of in agreement here.
I think to that point real quick, Pong, I think it works going forward still if you're that profitable on the hardware itself, which Nintendo is.
It gotta be.
But PlayStation or Xbox will never be that profitable on hardware.
It's not even just as profitable on the hardware. It's also the cost the cost of gaming itself. For them to create a game on the Switch 1 is super cheap. I've said this multiple times when we had this discussion. It's going to be interesting to watch Nintendo now with Switch 2 with the increased power, how their devs start increasing their games, we expect. And is dev time's going to start creeping up, their budget's going to start creeping up for Nintendo now. I'm not saying they're going to explode to $203 million like we're seeing on PlayStation, Xbox, but do we see Nintendo start to feel that a little bit as their games get a little bit bigger or a little bit more complex, and they can't just pump out the same Zelda game that they've been doing for decades now, as fans will look at the Switch 2 and start to scratch their head and go, oh, come on, there's more power here. This thing better take a little bit of a leap here, because their fans can still expect a kind of a generational leap in new hardware, whereas PlayStation, Xbox have kind of plateaued as far as that leap goes. We've talked about that plenty of times. We get better games, but it's not the same as it used to be. Nintendo's still going to have to pressure a little bit on them. I'm just being... I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here, because this is the one argument that I still have had, as to why I would still be competing differently if I was Xbox. Again, not removing myself. When I do look at Nintendo, I just see how dominant a performance they've had, for a variety of factors, but one of them being is they've kept that walled garden up around their ecosystem with a more than firm hand, going so far as to create frivolous lawsuits, in my opinion, against people like Pal World, etc. But they had defended that walled garden to this point, and I think that does show some value to their fans, and I think it is still something that does work for a variety of reasons, like you were saying, Matt. Again,
To-
that's something I agree
but
with you too.
like the outlier for them, like
Yeah.
again for me, is like they have this special model that's different and
Mhm.
unique to Xbox and PlayStation because of the cost is so much lower for
Yeah.
so much higher return. So like if you have, like you
Right.
said, the budgets on the games are smaller. They have, the consoles. People are okay with playing on lower end hardware and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So they make a shit ton of money on every box
And their attachment rate is
and
ridiculous.
every box they sell, right? So,
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily, even in a perfect world for Xbox, like that's still not going to translate the same, right? As far
No.
as for the
Not one for
companies.
one.
So they're
Not one for
they're
one.
looking at it like I think
Right.
differently from that perspective because
I agree.
so in that and I don't want them to go and like be like, okay, we're going to do the Nintendo thing and make shittier hardware and lower budget games with all these developers and publishers. I want them to make higher end shit and push the stuff forward, which is never going to translate to Nintendo's model for profitability in that. So for growth wise, it's just different, So I
Yep.
get that. Perfect world, we would have all those other kind of things. But I still think for me as a consumer, I win if whatever device I could access all the games.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Right.
and I
So
totally agree.
like, regardless of who's gonna win with what or business models are better and all that stuff, like me, I wish Nintendo would do what Steel is talking about, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Right.
I think
Like,
it'll happen in the future. Like they experimented a little bit with mobile. Like it's not going to happen tomorrow. Probably won't happen
Yeah.
for 5 years, but at some point it will happen. Like from a hardware standpoint, I don't think that they can rely on future iterations of the cheapest of the cheap on hardware. Like we've seen that this Switch 2 is a little bit beefier in comparison. I think at some point they are going to have to kind of jump the ship to some extent, because there has to be at some point us as gamers standing up for digital rights management or ownership, and I could foresee at that point where they'll begrudgingly change over and have it where you will be able to access their games on something like a Steam Deck or something like that. But it's probably not going to be a Steam Deck 2, might not even be a Steam Deck 3, might be a Steam Deck 5 or something like that. But at some point I could foresee it because I think hardware as we know it is going to go away within 10 years. Like I've said it before, I see the future of hardware, and that's for all platforms, being nothing more than a controller that has the same capability and power output as what you see in the current hardware, but it'll fit in your controller at the same point. So you'll have your hardware that you need for the controller to function and the brain power behind the console or whatever in that as well. They'll still fit in that same body. So I don't see handheld PCs being as well. At some point, they'll probably be the norm, but I think they'll even hit a plateau. Like they're still in their infancy at 8 million sold across all brands, not really including IO Neo or whatever that other company is. But as far as the main PC handhelds from Steam and MSI, Lenovo, and Asus and stuff like that, I can see within the next 10 years, hundreds of 100 million or more of those floating around, all different brands. The Xbox One mixed in there as well. And then at some point, Nintendo's going to be like, you know what? Yeah, we're getting 50 million sales on Zelda, but we could get 150 million sales on Zelda. And if they know with confidence that they can do that, that's when they'll kind of test it out and be pleasantly surprised. I think. Well, at least that's how I see it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, man, it's like crazy worlds we're living in. As the industry just changes, right? But somebody in the chat, Kata Lee earlier had said like, well, why not just buy the hardware, for the games that you want? And here, that's the way it's always been, right? I will give you a direct answer to that. I have come to the point in my life where I am sick of having a PlayStation sit in a fucking room for 9 months of the year until the one game I'm interested in buying there that's not also
Yeah.
available on Xbox releases.
I don't see
And
the
I'm like, okay, I time to
point.
ramp up my PS5 for the first time and for fucking forever so I can play this one exclusive that I've been excited for. This year it would be Ghost of Yotei. I'd be like, hell yeah, Ghost of Yotei is finally out. I can play it. I'm past the point of going and buying a $500 or $600 box and leaving it sitting on a shelf every year until the one fucking game comes out that I'm looking forward to playing that I can't get on my other place that I play all the time. Right? Now, that's where I also talk about Nintendo and PlayStation, because Nintendo has, I think, more games released more often. PlayStation is at the point now where it's like, why the fuck? Like the pipeline is abysmal. Like, I don't want to go buy a PlayStation to wait for that one game. I would rather be patient and wait for it to release on Steam and hope to have access to it on my other access point where I play my games. Right? Like, that's just where I'm at now. I don't want to buy consoles for one game a year. And even less than that this generation for me for PlayStation, honestly. That's why I have bought and sold them numerous times. I just like, I can't, I'm just done with that now. Right? And so that's my answer to that. It's better for me to not have to do that. To go spend all that fucking money and not use it. Most of the games are available everywhere. Most of the games you can access in PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, right? And so I'm good where I play. And I look more now at which games are giving me the most access. Like, which games are giving me Xbox Anywhere? Which games are giving me streaming capabilities as well? And which games are doing all this? Not like, oh, that game's better because it's only there. That's a disadvantage for me. To have to go buy something just to play that one game. That's better for the company. That's better for that company to have to sell me a box. It's not better for me. Then I can be done with it after playing it for a few weeks and let it sit there for another fucking 11 months until the next game comes out. That doesn't help me. Fuck that. I'm done with that shit. I'm done with it. Shout out to Web Dave with the $2 super chat. Says, Mad Fuzzy Pong, Steel, you rock. TTS, hit the like button. Appreciate you, Web Dave.
Hey, love.
Alvin with the $5 super chat. Appreciate Alvin. Says, to Matt's point, I played Astrobot on my Pro when I got it. Now there's a Cyberpunk shirt draped over it till Yotei releases. LMAO. No regrets though. Yeah, that was my life for a long time. I owned all devices, right? Nintendo devices, PlayStation, Xbox. I played 90% of the time on Xbox. Occasionally I'd pop onto the Switch. And then every once in a while, in a blue moon, there'd be a PlayStation game that'd be like, okay, finally, I'm going to turn it on, play this story-based thing that's over in 20 hours, turn it back off after about a week or two of playtime. And, well, where's the dust cover, right? Because that's not where my library is. Now, if you're a PlayStation-only player, then you would have had to make the same decision about Xbox. And if they had the game that forced you to go over there and buy it, like, yeah, that's better for the company if they get you over. And that's why the exclusive thing was always so important. But, like, it's not better for me. It doesn't do me any favors. So I'm just looking at it from my perspective of, like, access to my games. I've championed this direction strongly because of that's what I want, to be able to just have the ultimate device where I can access whatever I want and not feel the need to go spend $500 or $600 unnecessary dollars on something else that barely ever gets used. The God Emperor Sofa King, member for 19 months, says, yo, Pete's played 33 Immortals, very fun game. Yeah, I tried it. Did you guys try 33 Immortals?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
I like the, especially during the beta, but even more so now. I just gotta find time to play it. Assassin's Creed kind of killed the momentum that I was going to have with 33 Immortals. Although at some point, I think we should do a community night on that game. So
Okay. Right on. Is there a way to like have a lobby where everybody plays together, or is it just put you with randoms each time?
I think you could do up to, was it like however many people in your party? Is it capped
Right.
at 10 or 12 or something like that? So
I can't remember.
I think that would probably be the best way to do it, and just have a couple of groups of 10 or 12. And then I don't know if there's a queuing. I know that they're supposed to be working on some sort of like clan kind of thing where
Mhm.
you could be part of that same organization and probably go in as an organization, but we'll see.
Yeah, right on. What about you, Steele?
Yeah, I had a good time. I was having a good time with it. I'm not in the mind frame for it, but I don't know. It doesn't hit the same way like a Hades does for me. I thought I was gonna have more of this twin, like the twin stick side of it, and it doesn't.
Mhm.
That's what I prefer in games like that. You kind of have to stand still. Like I started off using the bow, and you have to stand still to shoot your shots. You could get used to it. You warm up to it, the dodging in between the enemies attacking and everything, and that stuff feels good. Playing up until fighting the boss and everything, it just, if you're a fan of those top down Vampire Survivor esque style games, you want to jump in with some buddies. I can see definitely how it'd be a lot of fun in co-op. You going through very Battlefield esque. You and your buddies, teams of fours, right, doing everything on the map. Everybody grouping up at the end, fighting the boss, continuing to progress, because there is progression to be had there too, right? Every time that you die, you can get different perks, or you can end up working towards a build or whatever the case, for the different weapons and everything that you could use. So there's some versatility in there. It's a unique game. I definitely agree with Fuzzy. It's definitely one of those that I would. It's a community night game, but it's also a game that it's probably gonna have a lot of people talking smack to each other about, because you drop the ball, you feel, especially when you get to the end, you feel when you don't have enough people. You can
Yeah.
definitely tell. So
Yeah, that's kind of is weird because it's kind of like I tried it for a little while and I was like, it kind of felt like ARPG in some ways where you just like Diablo where there's just a bunch of random people fucking
mhm,
running around, you know, um, and but like roguelike, obviously, like Hades.
Mhm.
So it kind of felt like a weird blend of different kind of genres and games. Because it's more open with the open spaces, kind of like a Diablo, right?
mhm,
Where you can just kind of go up, down, left, right, whatever,
Yep.
Um, and then seeing random people that you're paired up with for that, 32 others or whatever. But I kind of like didn't like it in that regard because I see the mob of mass of these people running around, I'm like, oh, I better go with them. Like as opposed to like I wanted to go the other way. But I better just run along with the mob because, go through this together. So I don't know. In a way, I was kind of like, I don't know if I like playing with all these other people and feeling part of like this big group. I want to just rather do my own thing. So in that regard, it kind of threw me off. I understand what the game was, and that's what it was going to be, but I don't know if it's just going to click with me for that reason. And I think for some it will. For me, I'd rather play if I'm playing a roguelike, like I'd rather play like myself and face the challenges myself, you know, and get through it that way. So I'd rather I have more fun with Vampire Survivors, or I have more fun with the Hades or something like that. So I'll just stick to those, I think, instead of this one. But a cool game, still a really cool concept, and I think a lot of people are gonna really like it. But also we did get a release date for Towerborn, um, which is I think is April 29th. So that's around the corner.
So,
And there's also rumors that we might actually get Silk Song this year.
Oh,
Yeah, which would be in June, which is something that's eluded many indie game fans for a long time. So we'll see if that ends up happening. And the other little thing that we heard about is the Gears collection might actually be this year. as well.
We'll see.
So we'll see what happens. You know, these are all rumors and speculation and stuff, but this week was really full of cool news and things to speculate about. We did have a showcase. You know, we had all these things. Yeah, I think the Steam thing was the most interesting, right? Any other thoughts on that before we head out, guys? No,
No?
good to go. All right.
Just hope it happens sooner rather
Yeah.
than later.
Man, yeah. So it sounds like a cool future, dude. It just does. It just sounds like something that's just like gonna be fucking cool. And like on the image, I told Kate, "Hey, put Spider-Man there," because you know what? Exclusivity exists on the PC today as a device. It doesn't. It does within storefronts. It doesn't as a device. You know. And on, well, I mean, except for games that are PC only or whatever. But you know, what I'm getting in the future where the Xbox console, all these other kind of things merge or whatever with the PC, and we live in that world. One of these PlayStation games or whatever end up going to Steam later on. You know, like that's kind of going to be interesting, right? As a device at that point, that exclusivity is gone. It's just still about the storefronts, you know. So it's going to be pretty cool and interesting to see. So hope it checks out. I've got there's so many things to think about in the future when it comes to that stuff. But I hope everyone enjoyed the show tonight. Steele, dude, thanks for rolling through and sliding in the back door because you have the key.
Whoa.
Hey, you said it earlier. Not me.
Whoa. No,
Lube
yeah.
on up, Mav. Lube on up.
Hey, but tell everybody where they can check you out. I know you guys aren't having a show tomorrow, but all your streams and stuff too.
Well, typically you could find me on a Saturday morning, live, raw, and uncut with my brother from another Pong Soul on Living Split Screen, a non-console centric platform. But yeah, but we're not having a show tomorrow. I'm doing some moving. I should be in by Monday. We should be back by next Saturday. So we'll see. We got to get some things set up and get back to the work week next week. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But in the meantime, between time, just follow me everywhere. Steel Rain, the T is a 7. Everywhere, man. Just Google is the easiest place. If not, Steam and the Xbox ecosystem, because it just works so well in tandem with each other. And yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on and allowing me to come through that back door. Pause.
No problem, man. Anytime. Fuzzy Belvedere. Oh, tell everybody where they can find you and your rambles and rants, sir.
Yeah, this was awesome. Always a good time with you guys. Love it when we have Steel in here as well. Yeah, for my rambles and rants, just do a search on social media for Fuzzy_Belvedere. You'll be able to find me, YouTube and Instagram and whatnot, everywhere but Facebook, like I said. But yeah, top podcasts might be on hold for a little bit, or we'll see. This Sunday, PXE should be this Sunday. Fingers crossed. And then Monday, Xbox Lunch Break Special, Double Barrel Gaming, 12 noon. Definitely check it out. And then FSP later on that evening, 9 p.m., right on this same channel. Hope to see you guys there.
Right on, Fuzzy. Appreciate you as always, bro. And Pong Soul, what about you, sir?
Thank you. What a great night, everybody. Steel, absolutely blessed to have you here, brother. Thanks for dropping on by. I was afraid I was going to have to go a whole week without hearing your voice, man. But thanks for swinging on through and coming in Mav's back door. Let's go. That's the way to do it on a Friday night. Getting naked. Let's go. Hey,
it made my whole week, man.
Yeah, it made your whole week. Oh boy. Anyways, get nasty in here now. We're getting close to closing time. All right, Fuzzy, Mav, great to hear you too, brothers. Mav missed you last night, but chat, you guys were absolutely amazing. Some really incredible conversations in there, as always. Again, going on while we're having these talks too. But thank you all for joining us again and giving us your most precious commodity, which is your time to be here. And that goes for anybody listening to us in the future as well, not just the people that are live and present. Nothing but love and respect. So thank you all for a great Friday night here on Xbox Ultimate. Otherwise, like Steel said, no limit split screen. So you don't have to set the alarms. Nah, get up in the morning anyways. Go check out one of the other amazing shows or multiple shows on Saturday, man. But Steel and I, we will cross our fingers and hopefully be back in about a week. But otherwise, Sunday, again, keep your eyes and ears open for the Shop podcast over on PTK Blam's channel. We'll let you know. PTK definitely will let you know if it's going to go live. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. Otherwise, next week it's Tuesdays. All Good Things Green. Xbox Factor podcast. Double Barrel Games the channel. Boomstick's the man 5 days a week. But that Tuesday is a good one. So get over there 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time for that. And then, of course, God willing, my week will start again on Thursday next week with this man right here, Maverino, PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM next Thursday. Might be a late start. It is end of the month. We will see if it is a late start, but otherwise 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time for that. And then, hey, you guys know how to find me, Pong, so everywhere. Otherwise, it's a golden age of gaming, people. Get out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Get us out of here, brother.
Right on, man. Thanks to you and Fuzzy and Steel and everybody here that hung out on the show tonight in the chat. You guys always are awesome and help make this just a shit ton of fun. So thanks for being here. Audio listeners, shout out to you as well. If you like the show on audio, hey, hit the review button. Hey, tell us what you think, and hopefully that helps people find us as well. And YouTube guys, appreciate you all being here as well. If you hit the like button, share it out, notification bell. I always forget to say it at the beginning, but it greatly helps people find us. Hope you all have a good one. I will be streaming again this weekend. Keep an eye out on Twitter and Discord or wherever, and you'll see notifications before I go live about Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I'll be doing a stream for that, as well as maybe something else this weekend, maybe Wreckfest 2 or something like that as well. Take it easy, everyone. Oh, hey, Infinite Umbra says he's going to karaoke, and he says a country song will be sung in my name. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Umbra. I demand a clip, please, for your Texas brother here. Come on, bro. I need it. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.